Hello and welcome to Roll the Bones. And a first for me, because I get to ask our players, Dom and Rob, a very important question. One that, as I said, I've yet to ask, and there it's bubbling, and it's what happened previously on the finishing touch.
Well, Conrad and Bracken returned in more than one way. It began on a boat, on a ship. I don't know what the technical term is.
A ship. It's a bit bigger than a boat.
It's a bit bigger. It's a large boat.
Just a large boat.
Where they were sailing towards Conrad's homeland of Levelis. Didn't have to look it up at all.
A place you know so well.
My reasoning is Conrad has taken a lot of hits to the head.
He certainly has taken a lot of hits to the head. So before we entered Noble Bay on our way to Lions Bay, after a little bit of a chat, we were attacked mid-sail by not a kraken as we were expecting, but a dragon.
That's right. A number of the crew had been talking about their superstitions about the particular area that they were sailing through. A superstition that had been sort of given life by the fact that this was generally noted as dangerous waters, or they said something along the lines of that. The fact that trade had passed through here in the past and had vanished with no explanation. We learned the explanation fairly sharpish. Yes, we did think it was going to be a kraken because there was lots of descriptions of this creature grabbing sailors and pulling them overboard and things like that. Arms were mentioned, and I was like, well, I guess that must be a kraken. But of course, another thing that has arms, but also wings as well. Yes, a black dragon known as the Claw of the Sea's Bed, did you say it was called?
The Seabed's Claw.
The Seabed's, that's such a cool name. The Seabed's Claw rose up, sensing not only powerful artifacts being on the persons of two epic level characters, but also sensing, I guess, the general presence of powerful movers in the world. And a great battle ensued!
Certainly did. And to begin with, we were laying hits on it left and right, staring it, and then, unfortunately, it decided to grab Conrad and dive beneath the waves.
That it
so
did.
Bracken leapt into action, knowing exactly the spell he wanted to cast to save the day.
Because Bracken is so well versed in all different kinds of creatures, he assumed that the creature that he was transforming into was a proficient swimmer and could breathe underwater. Alas, he was mistaken, as he learned to his detriment. As he turned into a troglodyte, a stinking abomination of a reptilian humanoid, he learned very quickly they cannot breathe underwater nor have any advantage underwater whatsoever. Which was quite hilarious. And we went with it. But he did, regardless, have to resort to plan B, which was get down as quickly as possible to where Conrad had been dragged by this giant dragon, or this gargantuan dragon, we learned, and casting one of the old favourites, reverse gravity, sending a towering waterfall of seawater high into the air with Bracken and Conrad along with it.
A brutal technique, but a very effective in rescuing the two of you.
It was. And then, I can't really remember how we smashed it, but we smashed the dragon. It had killed some of the crew by this point, hadn't it, as well?
Oh, it killed a lot of the crew with
its
a
opening
maximised
attack.
breath weapon.
Yeah.
And yeah, Shaky Remy was no more. Uh,
Or Shaky Remy.
let's see who died brutally and horribly. Jim was
Shaky Remy.
almost removed, and Erdner was still somewhat resembling a person, and Clyde tried to swim away, but yes, saved.
We did rescue him, yeah.
You did, and the final gambit was actually Bracken tapping into his scariest power, potentially,
God,
that of the
yeah.
Brackenverse.
Well, both myself as a player and Bracken as a character has wished to avoid that, to be honest with you. Not yet named in the game, but there you go, Michael. It's fine. We know what it is, so it's fine.
It's okay. That'll come up later.
It was it was pretty intense that he had to draw upon one of his most formidable moves right in the opening stages of the game. But at the same time, we were immediately thrown against arguably the most dangerous creature in the game, or at least one of them, I would say, arguably. So yeah, he drew upon that, and it was almost like black ink filled his eyes, and black ink had been running from his fingertips previously when he'd been making scrolls of immense power. But yeah, he basically cast Sphere of Ultimate Destruction, and Ultimate Destruction was laid upon the dragon, and he destroyed him, and it was great.
And everyone cheered.
Everyone cheered. Well, everyone that was alive cheered. We also had a quick discussion about the captain said that he would remember the rough vicinity of this place if we ever want to come back, because we mused on the dragon having some kind of lair, taking all the trade and treasure down into some kind of a hidden cave under the sea, perhaps. And then for a more localized search, Bracken took great care to memorize every detail of this coin that he dropped over the overside, so he could use locate object at when they're closer in range to it, to hopefully try and discover their exact position when they were attacked. But then we went to Lions Bay itself, and we disembarked.
You did, yes. And do you remember where you ended up?
Pub.
Do you remember which?
Pub.
Sleeping Elf.
The Sleeping Elf, yes. And was anything of is there anything of merit to note at this point?
No.
Yeah, well, we were
Yeah,
being...
there's loads. Yeah, there's loads.
It was suspect, first of all, because Bracken suspects everything of being dangerous, so he first of all thought that the sleeping elf was like a trap, because he's like, aha, elves don't sleep. But then he worked out that might be because the elf was drunk. That's the selling point of the bar. But then, yeah, we were being watched, and we were learning from the barkeeper of like the war that ravages the land of the Lord's Grasp to the north. Haxol is encroaching on the lands of Vardel, a neighbouring area to where we are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last bit of really terrible news. Do you remember that, Dom?
Yeah, no one had heard from Highkeep for a little while.
About a month.
About a month. But more scarily for Bracken,
Oh, of
they'd
course,
had
yeah.
some visitors, hadn't they?
Yes, mentioned that this a wizarding order from the Dominion, a great and powerful totalitarian regime that is featured heavily in other games. A wizarding faction known as the Synod, that head the Academy, have been spotted here as well. They are a terrifying order of wizards, but not much has been explained about them in the game, so I think we will leave that in-game whenever that comes up next. But yes, we learned that too. And then finally, we noted to tick the boxes, because we're having a proper traditional tavern experience. There is a mysterious stranger in the corner that has been eyeing us suspiciously, and all of a sudden there was like a sudden surge of action as someone stood up in an aggressive manner. At least that's how Bracken chose to read it, because he used telekinesis to throw a table into his chin, and that's where we left it.
Yes, and just to kind of remind you, the individual in the corner had been staring very intently at the two of you, but also at that militia. And the militia had been looking quite fidgety and panicky, flicking eyes at you to the point where they stood up in quite a panic and quite a commotion, and you responded with a chinning from the table. Now, before we begin, I just have to say, thanks to our... Yes, thank you, Rob. Thanks to our beloved Matt, who is not here for this campaign, but is here in Twitch, as he has redeemed inspiration for the two of you. And
you can too, if you're watching along. You can use your viewer rewards to influence the game. The more you watch, the more you shall have influence over what transpires around our characters. So get watching and get spending them boons that you earn by getting bones. Because it's not a roll the bones. That's us. Anyway,
So everything has to be bone themed.
I'm pretty sure that's everything, though.
I believe it is.
And that's us framed. We're back.
Lovely. And I had the two of you roll initiative before, as you have initiated something.
Some thing.
And the two of you are not the quickest off the mark. Unfortunately, the chap you chinned is quick onto his feet, and he pulls out from the inside of a leather jerkin what looks like a small knife, and he throws it at you, Bracken. Seeing your energies you attempted, what is your flat-footed armor class, please?
My flat-footed armor class is 21.
21. Oh, if he wasn't on, because last he happened, he got knocked to the floor. I didn't actually say he stood up. If he was standing, this would have been a hit. But the dagger flies past you and lands behind the bar. He then spends his turn standing up. Bracken, you just had a dagger thrown right past your ear. What are you going to do?
Can you quickly ping the one that threw the dagger at me, just so I'm clear of which one it was? Oh, it's him. It is him. Okay, perfect.
It is him. Yes.
Okay. He threw a dagger at Bracken, and that's really all the excuse Bracken needs. Really, I'm afraid. So Bracken is going to quicken standard invisibility. There is a sudden a flash of many colours, and Bracken vanishes. However, he appears on just opposite the man here.
Okay.
Or so it seems. Bracken actually uses the rest of his move, because he quickened invisibility, to cast Project Image, where he conjures up a completely faithful copy of himself to stand there. Now that copy, I will say, can act and move freely as Bracken. Bracken can see and hear through him, and most importantly of all, Bracken can cast spells from it, like it's a magical extension of his own being. There is currently 2 Brackens on the field, only one of them can be seen. So he vanishes, and it looks like he's just shot forward towards him in a teleport, but actually it's been that disguises his true actions in his opening gambit. That's his turn.
Very nice. You should have control of your projected image.
Ooh, let's see, shall
Feeling
we?
control.
Do you feel in control? I have control.
Excellent. And with you vanishing and projecting, we come to Conrad.
annoyingly, Conrad can't quite reach. So he's going to have to double movement to get to there. Whereupon he will start his Thicket of Blades stance as a free action. And he will also shout out to the inn, "Don't fear, citizens. The Free Company is here to deal with this."
Very nice. We now cut to this individual at the back. That was an abrupt stop for the music. Let me put that on a repeat. There we go. And he shouts, he can't see, well, he can't see the real Bracken, but he shouts to the two of you, "Keep him alive! I need him!" As he then that's lucky. He jumps over the side and luckily lands it, which is quite good, considering he's in heavy armour. And will also double move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He can get to there. That is his turn. We then come to the people in the tavern. This person moves here, screaming, "Oh my god! The table's flipped!" And they all start running away. The bard is just playing some dramatic music called Only Teeth. This woman is going to go behind here, and she's also going to go behind here. Captain Wenlow, not Verna, is staying at the top, looking down on everything. Except for two. For it is now the final turn in this initiative order, and it is these two here. This person stands up and goes 5, 10, behind you, pulling out a short sword from under a skirt and attempts to stab you in the back.
Because I was in Thicket of Blades and they moved within range, I get to take a free attack on them.
Excellent.
Attack of opportunity. So I'll attempt to trip.
Is it just a normal attack and then you get the...
Yeah, so it's to touch first and then we do the trip off.
I would love to say that 39 didn't touch, but I'd be lying, so that's a very clear touch. And we do opposed.
We do opposed trip rolls.
I think the only chance I have is for a re-roll on a crit. That is not a crit. What is it like as you, as this woman comes towards you, pulling a short sword from seemingly out of nowhere, and you just go, nope?
I think initially he's not going to hit because he thinks, oh, she's panicking, she's just running away, and then he hears like the, he's like, nope, and just like swings the chain round really low, it wraps around her ankles, and he just yanks, and she just goes, arse over tea kettle.
Arse over tea kettle. Beautiful. And finally, this one here reaches under the table and pulls out what looks like a short bow. And 5, 10. Moves to there and attempts to loose a shot upon the projected image, thinking it's you, Bracken.
Okay, so it's being interacted with, so they do get a save to determine whether they know that it is an illusion when they've interacted with it. The will save is a will disbelieve of 26.
Would this happen after she shoots?
She has to try and have interacted with me, and shooting me will count. I imagine she has to hit me for that to be feasible.
So does it have the same armor class as you, or a lower armor class?
Same everything. So this is my standard armor class now, which is 25. Looses one arrow and just completely misses.
As you can see her now fumbling on her person to find another arrow. But that is the end of their turn. We cut back to the top. And what happens is this chap stands up. Before I go any further, does that provoke an attack of opportunity from you?
No, because I've already used it.
New round.
Top of the round.
It would, but I'm not going to use it because I don't want to kill him.
Okay.
I will wait to trip rather than smash into the earth.
Right. Well, that's half of his movement. He will then provoke an attack of opportunity from you and this chap here, which he will take. So again, you can take it if you wish.
Yeah, sure. I'll take the second opportunity to take him back to the ground.
Ooh. The armoured fellow punches the guy in the back of the head as he's getting up and starting to move, doing some damage to him there. And 42 is a very easy hit.
And 25 on the trip attempt.
That is a very easy success. Well done.
He slams to the ground.
I may look at another dice here, because this one has given me some incredibly low rolls.
That's cheating. You've got to use the dice.
I know. Unfortunately for him, he not only gets punched in the back of the head, but he careens down as he hits the table and then the chair and then the floor as you just bring him back down. That was a movement. I will leave it at that for the time being. Whilst he's on the floor, give me a spot check.
27.
You spot him appearing to coat a dagger with some foul substance underneath him. He's lying there going, oh, as he's trying to just coat his dagger with something. But that's not his turn. We cut back to Bracken.
The man that's fighting with the who has a cloak similar to Conrad's in the way, the blue, he's fighting on our side then, seemingly. Like he leapt to our defense.
Seemingly, yes.
Right. Okay.
And do you remember his name? Well, at least
Dartain.
Dartain, yes.
Yes. Well, Bracken makes note of this, like in the swift moments that you can in the middle of a fight, your attention going a million miles per hour at lots of different things. His focus then switches back to the rest of them that are attacking us. First of all, looking at the one that is coating their dagger, Bracken will say, he will, or rather his projection will say, that is underhanded. Take a hand from me! As he quickens slapping hand. A giant rainbow hand just is brought across the guy on the floor's face. Just a backhand whack right across his chops. It does no damage, automatically lands. He must make a DC 20 concentration check, or it will provoke an immediate attack of opportunity of Conrad, if he wishes to take it.
Even if I've already used...
Even if you've already used it.
Oh, wow.
He fails the concentration check.
So do you want to determine that attack now, before I continue with my turn?
Do you know if you want to attack non-lethally with something, do you know how to do it?
Do you subtract...
4, yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I can certainly non-lethally hit this guy. It's attack of opportunity, so it's just a regular. 39 to hit. Is that gonna
39.
Is that gonna?
39 is an easy smack, as he's just been slapped. Roll me some non-lethal damage.
I don't subtract anything from this, do I?
No.
23 points of damage.
Can you describe how the two of you have tag teamed and just knocked this guy unconscious for me?
So I think the slap rolls him over onto his back, and Conrad just hits him so hard in the ass with a chain.
Amazing.
That he shoots forward and smacks into a wall or something, or a table, maybe a table leg, and falls unconscious.
Yeah, he's just careened under the table then.
The floor twitching.
Oh, what a way to get knocked out. Horrid.
That, however, was a quickened action. So as the slapping hand lands, Bracken then turns his attention to the one who loosed an arrow at his projection, and he will say, "No offense, barkeep, but it seems a little drab in here. Perhaps some redecoration is in order." The one with the bow, can they please make a fortitude saving throw of 26?
I beg your pardon.
A fortitude saving throw of 26. Wait, is it 26? Let me just double check that, actually. 25, sorry.
They absolutely cannot.
Redecoration is in order! Bracken lifts up a hand as he casts Flesh to Stone, and all of a sudden a new statue is given to this tavern for decoration purposes. Put that in the corner, Bracken yells at the barkeep. That's my turn.
Oh, wow, okay. Frozen, there we go. Right, lovely, excellent. Any movement? No. Just casually make a statue and slap someone. Excellent work, Conrad.
Conrad is going to perform a... You said I can do non-lethal, can't I?
Yeah.
A non-lethal mountain tombstone strike. So that is...
Is this what I think it is?
43.
Yes.
And this is obviously the... What are they? A little devil person? Are they a little tiefling?
Yes.
They are a tiefling. Oh, how lovely. 21 points of damage.
Uh-huh.
And 5 constitution damage.
For a second, they stagger, looking at you in absolute pain. And then they just fall over as the constitution damage just takes them over the edge as boom, they drop to the floor as you have neatly dealt with the fidgety people, the curious
people.
Who knows?
Sorry, my sound's gone again.
Oh, we can hear you fine, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, I can.
I can too.
No, I can't. I can't hear anything.
Oh gosh.
I can't hear anything.
Oh.
Well, in the meantime, whilst you fix that, then Bracken is going to look around, and he will remain. I'm just going to check how long invisibility lasts. I think it's is it 10 minutes per level or something silly?
It's I think it's a minute per level, and greater invisibility is a round per level, I believe.
Yeah, I just did normal invisibility, so
So,
yeah, you're
20
absolutely
minutes.
right. 1 minute per level. So it's it's not going to be much. What Bracken will do is he's going to his invisible real self will walk to inhabit the exact space where his image was, and then he drops his image and drops invisibility. Because while this stranger came to their aid, he doesn't want him to know that he's capable of doing such things. So he completely just hides the fact that that was not him at all in the combat by doing so.
Of course. Well, at this point, I will say the landlord is just busy staring at the new statue that you have just left for him. However, the individual in the armor turns to your image and to you, Conrad. You have my thanks. I was unsure what with the news of late, if you would be friend or foe, but it seems you are the prior. And he gives you a small half bow as he goes, Peridic Artane.
Peridic.
Yes.
Okay, just checking I caught that correctly. Conrad will say, I thought I recognized the crest of the D'Artagnan family.
Ah, you a man of learning.
I don't know about learning. My name is Conrad de Vissier of Highkeep. And this... Oh, God.
You can see there's a moment where the gears are clicking as he's just... as like he himself is remembering the name. And he's like, De Vissier. Wait, you're the runaway lord?
If that's what they're calling me.
Well, for a lack of a better description, there's a few colourful things that could be said, but...
I'm sure.
And so, your friend here.
And this is my my good friend and advisor, Bracken the Bramble Man.
Bracken will bow and he will say, the Lord D'Artagnan, is it? A pleasure to meet you, though I must take umbrage with your terminology. The Lord Conrad de Vissier runs from no one. He was merely on sabbatical, if I might say.
Well, I don't think now's the best place to comment on what others might say about that. If you could do me a favour, the two of you. I need one of them alive. The others... well, I don't want to dispatch them. That would just be unfair, and... tell you what. I've already been here before. Let the landlord know. And if you could just take one of them to the back room, he will show you. I will notify the authorities. They'll dispatch with these people.
Well, they're all alive. You must pardon any misconception. While a statue, that individual is well and truly alive. Perhaps a cleric can be hired by his loved ones. They will be able to undo the mischief caused.
You'll notice Peridic hadn't even really noticed that person had been turned to stone for a second. It just went,
whoa!
whoa!
And are you able to enlighten us as to why they attacked us in broad daylight, out of nowhere?
By broad, I should say, this was the late evening. The sun was coming down, having arrived.
Why they attacked us in the late evening? In front of so many others.
I think I can, but get one of the two then to the back room and I will meet you there.
Any preference?
So long as they can talk. And D'Artagnan gives a nod and goes off to grab the people.
Well, very interesting. I think we should bring both of them. So I will. Bracken will grab hold of the one that had the knife that was coating it with poison. Careful to avoid touching those. He will search the unconscious man on the floor to see if there's anything on his person that might give any clue, anything like that.
Well, he's wearing clothing and mild
so.
armor of
He's butt.
he's completely naked.
Completely naked.
He's wearing the outfit of a local militia. You can see like typical sort of leathers, and apart from on his person where you can see there's some daggers tucked into the inside of his armor and another vial of a horrible looking substance. And apart from that, nothing else on his person.
Bracken will take the horrid-looking vial. He imagines that might be coming quite useful quite soon, actually. So he'll keep the horrid vial in one of his pockets and look to Conrad.
What about the tiefling? Does the tiefling have any effect?
The tiefling, you find they have the short sword that you had taken. Sorry, the short sword that they had taken from under somewhere. A couple of daggers as well, strapped to the inside of the legs, and one strapped to the inside around their belly. And what looks like some writing, but it's all symbols you don't understand.
Conrad will hand that little note to Bracken and say it's all dwarvish to me.
Bracken will look at the note. Did you say it's in a language we don't understand? Sorry, did I misinterpret that?
It's symbols and bits you don't understand. You'd have to... You could attempt a decipher script.
Bracken
Never gets to decipher script.
Yeah, Bracken never gets to decipher script. Yeah, he does have it. So decipher script. It's not one of his best, but it's still pretty high. $30.
Hello.
Wow. You can recognize this as some sort of like a thieves' cant. It's a personal language amongst other people, and you can recognize quite quickly, because that was an incredibly good roll, recurring things that could replace certain letters or things that could replace certain words like the and other things, and you're able to extrapolate from that how this sort of quick hand translates. And it appears to be a record, an observation of movements of where certain guards are at certain times, being the most prominent note. There's an acknowledgement of how many ships were coming into bay and how many look to be carrying the big one here, like weapons and military cargo.
Oh, wow. Bracken will relay this information to Conrad. A timetable of guard movements, the timings of shipments, weapons, supplies, the like. This is written in some kind of cipher that only their organization would understand it. Being able to send orders without anyone else being able to learn of it. A simple code. They were foolish enough to keep the key in the corner of the parchment here. And he taps, and there's some hidden little key that's written backwards on the other side of it.
Nice.
Clever as always, Bracken. Can I take a look around and see if anybody looks suspicious? I know there'll be a lot of shocked faces, but wondering if anybody else.
Give me a search check then.
Search? I hate search.
Or sense motive, one of the two.
I'll take sense motive.
I'll have that.
28.
Yeah, it feels like the rest of the people here are trying to kind of grin and bear it. No one else seems to be shifty or in the same attitude that the others were. A lot of them now are just trying to settle back in, and there feels unrest, but there also feels as if this isn't the first time this has happened.
Can I speak to the inn and say, I appreciate that your drinks have been interrupted and nights potentially ruined, but we would appreciate it greatly if you kept what happened here under your hats for now, if you don't mind. Of course, the next round will be on me.
The room seems to improve morale. There's still a slight air of, there's been another fight, there's been another one of these. But people say, a drink, you say? And the mood lifts.
Very well, I don't think there's anyone else to worry about here, Bracken. Shall we proceed into the back room?
Let's drag them in as best as we can, making sure to strip them of their weapons, like the daggers in their belts and anything. We don't want them being able to reach anything that may do us harm. So we'll take those.
Indeed.
Conrad doesn't drag the tiefling. He just slings it over his shoulder and
Bracken's probably like,
if it takes too long, Conrad will come back for the other.
he's not. He's got 0 in strength. He's not a minus, just 0.
Okay.
And the landlord gives a nod. Obviously, this has been a prior arrangement. As he shows you through the back door here, and you pass through.
I toss him. Would it be about five gold for
A gold is enough to probably buy out the entire bar. So 5 gold is.
I'll give him 5 for his trouble.
He almost passes out with shock. He's not seen that much gold in a very long time. And he's, thank you, you're always welcome here. As he guides you through and you move through a rather hectic-looking kitchen. The chef hasn't seemed to notice what's been going on outside as he gives you the look that only a chef could give, which is the get out of my kitchen look.
Conrad will say, can we have a number 5 while we're in the back?
He raises his cleaver as if to throw it and
Try it.
Fine. As he turns around and then just goes, what is a number 5? Keeps on.
Conrad's already gone.
You find yourselves in the back room, and it's not long before Peredic turns up. And I can see you smiling, Tom.
I'm just enjoying myself, Michael.
Yeah, it's just.
I bet you are. And he gives you both a nod, seeing the two there. For the last couple of months, we've found more spies getting their way into the area. Myself and the other Dartanes have taken it upon ourselves to hunt them out.
Very noble.
Well, we can't have war on our border. It's bad enough it's only one away. Quite frankly, it's disturbing, and the lack of action has a lot of people restless. But I'm hoping to get some more information out of these and, well, go from there, really.
Are the other Dartanes in the area? Do we need to know who to look out for? Is there your father, for example, a perineum? Or
Do you want to give me your level, but half your level? Let's see if you know anything of the Dartanes. More so.
half.
Yes, I did last time as well.
Punishing me for 18.
18. You know that the Dartanes are, as lord families go, they're relatively new. They're not old families. They're not old lords. They've not been around the longest. But they come from a line of like a militia line. So they've always had a hand in local protection and affairs. A name that comes to mind is Mascor, which you believe was his father, the current leader of the Dartane house.
Cool.
No, my father is... well, Strata has called for as many hands as possible out in the bay, out at sea, and my father is there. So it is me for the moment. But should get what we need. Well, while we wait for one of them to come too, where have you been, Devizier?
Me? Well, we had I took a little trip around Liberty and Slaver's Bay and Liberty's Crown. You know, Bracken and I and a few of our friends, Free Company. I don't know if you've heard of us. We liberated the Liberty from the Masters, who were a group of Rakshasa slavers who had taken hold of the area and been causing all sorts of mischief. We soon put paid to that, didn't we, Bracken?
Tyrant fat cats got what was coming.
Well, that's... my knowledge of the northern lands is slim, but that sounds completely the opposite of what happened to you. But you were disgraced. Like the Sorry, I speak out of turn. I speak out of place. Yes, but the Deviziers have almost lost their power. They haven't, but they almost did.
What, after I left? Because of...
You cost you cost Alexander's... I mean, he still hasn't taken his mantle as lord yet, and that's been delayed even further now with the war that's coming on. He can't lead the Lavalians just yet. He's sat, waiting. And we've not heard from him or the others. But...
The Lavalians, is this some order of such?
They are the leading house.
Oh, yes.
You're new here, aren't you? I don't know if Conrad's spoken much of us.
I know only what Conrad has told me, and I'm afraid to say that I am at a loss when it comes to your houses and your political standings here. That is something that I wish to change. In fact, that's sort of the reason why we've come here. I'm in under oath to Conrad to help him in his return to this land. So any information you share with him, I will happily take on board as well. But you'll forgive me. Please continue. What else has occurred in Conrad's absence?
Well, give me a moment. Well, Andred Lavaliant still leads. Alexander has yet to step up. But in the last month, we have not heard anything of Highkeep. So we don't know. At first, we just thought they were being quiet. But then others travelled, and they say people just aren't coming back. So much so that last I heard, the rains had stopped access leaving Valleydale. So there's that. But obviously, the big issue here is the war, as I'm sure you've heard. Axel just came in like a tsunami. They wrecked Vardell, whether it was complacency or some unnatural ferocity. They swept through and took the land in months. And here they stand, only slowed down by both the Hag and Conqueror's Plateau. As far as I'm aware, Vardal has got a camp that they're calling Vardal's Hope, I believe, and Pantera stands now as a final bastion against the assault. But if Pantera drops, that's it. The front comes to the others.
You'll forgive me, Haxel. Who leads them? Are they? Have they ever been affiliated with the Houses of the Lord's Grasp, or have they always been enemies?
I'm surprised you know of the old name. Haxel was one of the northern lorddoms. They were, well, they still are led by Lord Ulrian. Though I hear he goes by a Sovereign Ulrian now.
We have heard that name before. And he leads men, humanoids?
So they say, but because of the I don't want to say slow response from Highkeep, we don't know. But because of the lack of action, we have not had a chance to get intel ourselves, and I know a few people have gone voluntarily. But as far as we're aware, it is his men. There's no giants.
But his land is ruled by humans, is what I mean. Like it's
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Very.
So you've not heard from Highkeep either. What causes this halt in word? We heard that people have been sent there, but is there any sign of any trouble? If scouts were to move closer to it, would they see there's any sign of attack, or if there's been any kind of magical interference? What is happening?
Well, I'm sure Conrad here would tell you you can't just look and scout Highkeep without climbing to Highkeep. It lives up to its name. But should you even get to the settlement at the top, then maybe. But people are climbing and not coming back.
And what was the last message received from Highkeep?
The last message was it was an invite to all the leading houses. So Father was saying that House Strata had been called, along with the other remaining 6 houses, to 5 houses, apologies, to sit and vote upon their action in this. Strata has been out at sea, unfortunately, and I'm sure they are aware of this. However, people have gone and no one's come back. And that was almost over a month ago.
Well, it sounds like urgent investigation is in order.
Certainly.
And because we don't have time to wait, we'll have to speed up the waking of your guests here, D'Artagnan. Let us wake them. Would you have them bound or anything so they can't scarper, or are we content in our combined position over them?
I do not feel we need to bind them as such. We both have the doors here for one, and should they make an attempt to fight back, then we will. And I would still rather not do anything hasty, and if I can return them, well, at least out of our borders and beyond, that would be ideal. I don't think we'll have that luxury, though. Besides, the militia will turn up soon, and they can deal with them.
Yes, I imagine impersonating a member of the militia will not be looked upon kindly.
No, it will not. They won't die, but they won't have a pleasant stay.
They won't have working knees by the end of it.
Potentially. Did you know some of our militia have had work experience with the watch?
Wow, I esteem indeed. Can we throw water on one of them or something? Can we
Yeah, I mean, there's
douse them in a...
massive ale kegs here. You could just fill up a cup and just throw it upon one of them.
Yeah, why not? Take a sip and then chuck it.
Which one are you going for?
Let's go for the militiaman.
The note, so
You douse them in ale, and they come to with a shock. Oh, where am I?
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
good Crusader, bad wizard, good wizard, bad Crusader.
I could make either work, to be honest. Probably my diplomacy is better than my intimidate, but they're both pretty good.
Okay. You lead.
Very well. Conrad will kneel in front of the chap and say, I'm sure this is all just a simple misunderstanding. Now, if you just explain what you were doing here, why you're wearing the armor of a militiaman, and why you attacked us, then we can all be on our way with no further trouble.
His eyes go across the room to where his associate is, and he starts... You can see he's kind of noticing that his body is a bit lighter of certain things as he's starting to just tap himself, just checking. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been part of the militia all my life. This is... You've just assaulted a member of the militia. This is... Look, you're gonna... I'm gonna...
wonder what the militia will be doing.
That's an awful roll. I'm not even going to make you attempt.
Are you going to make us roll? Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm not even going to bother. That is atrocious.
I wonder what the militia would be doing holding such orders as these. Bracken will show the note. This was found on your person. And is the militia in the habit of poisoning their weapons? I understood it that they, like to get their elbow in, break a few legs here and there, but poison... Well, setting a very good example for the wider community.
There's a moment where his eyes flick to the doors.
You want to run, don't you?
Why don't you try it?
Do you want to give... I don't know, that I feel like that necessitates an intimidate.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I actually don't know what I have in intimidate. It's not great. It's okay. It's not amazing at all. And I know I said that last time, but this really isn't.
30. That's not amazing.
27.
27.
I got 38 from Conrad as an assist.
I'm not even going to make you need to do a sense motive because you can easily see the person was very much tempted to just bolt, and you can see them just sort of collapse a bit more on themselves, like, oh, what's the point? Oh no, they're right.
Now, please answer our questions before we have to motivate you further. Be truthful with us, and you can go on to live a truthful life.
He gives a nod to the tiefling. They're the mastermind here. I'm just an accomplice. I don't know any. They're the one with the note. They're the ones you should be interrogating, not me. I'm nothing. I was just a paid help. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you are no longer of any use to us.
No. I am the soul. It was me. It was my idea. I was leading the three of us, and oh god, this sucks.
Just explain why you are carrying this and why you thought it necessary to attack the Lord here.
Because we were sent to gather intel. And Lions Bay being one of the main ports, and with control of Noble Bay. Of course we needed to get information. Our sovereign demands it.
Your sovereign being...
Sovereign Orion.
Good, just wanted to make sure. I wanted to hear you say it. And are you from... Haxel? I forgot the name of the place again.
Haxel, yes, you're right.
Haxel, yes. Or are you from here and a traitor? Spy or traitor?
I'm no turncoat. I have travelled from Haxel. I have... One moment. I have come from the Ebony Mott on strict orders from Sovereign Orion.
Directly from the sovereign?
As all of his intel and intelligence, they go directly to him.
And I wonder, was it a direct order from this sovereign to immediately throw your cover and attack the Lord? Call me old-fashioned, but if I'm doing reconnaissance, if I'm operating as a spy, I move without attracting attention. Your attack, as good as betrayed your cause. Or are you looking for a way out?
This is my first mission. I suppose you call it that. I choked, all right? I heard you talking over there about the war and everything, and you kept staring at me, and I just thought that was it. I panicked, all right? I choked.
Well, that was
Not
your
good
first.
at this, you know?
That was your first mission. How about we give you your second mission?
Doesn't matter. I'm as good as dead now.
You
Either
are
you're
if you
going to kill me,
refuse,
or I go back and I will be killed.
or the alternative being you could live on, but in service to the Lord Conrad of Vizio. If you
So
have
many
the
lords.
ear of this sovereign, then perhaps we could find use for you.
Makes you think I won't just run.
I can as good as guarantee it. And Bracken raises a hand, casts Dominate Person upon him.
I'm sure he's allowed to save.
He is.
He's a loud one.
Doesn't mean he's gonna pass it.
I've got all day, so what better than to immediately have someone with the ear of the sovereign go back under our order, Conrad. Dominate Person. Yes, he does get a save. Okay. So he has a will save to perform. And that will save is 24.
Who is he? I have no qualms in saying I have to critical to beat this. No.
That was not critical.
That was not a critical. That was a 5% chance, and it certainly was not. And as you just see his face just slacken as you cast the spell, and for a moment he sits there almost just in a comatose daze, not vacant, and 1,000-yard stare as he is sat, almost as a puppet, waiting for your
Waiting for the strings to be attached.
Bracken will look to Conrad and say we can return him to his lord, but it'll take days for him to return, by which he will have had a few chances to escape the grasp of this power. Or perhaps we could send him to whatever local authority he answers to. And we can learn who he speaks to and uncover more spies that operate within this area.
That seems like a fair idea.
You can see Peridek is looking upon the two of you like with. And he looks like at his own hands, and he's like, "I've got a long way to go." As he's and again with the way you just commanded the magic in front of him, there's a look, a glee almost of someone who has never really seen this kind of act happen before, or at least not to that degree.
Will you be remaining in Lions Bay, Peridek?
Until the command or the orders are given, I've taken it upon myself to root out what is left, or any spies that come through, and, well, send them to the lockup.
Very good. What is an ample meeting place or a place of advantage for this man to gather any associates he might have in the local area? For you and your militia.
Well, getting one of the fountains, that would work well.
Very good. Bracken will take the details of whatever area that Peridek would like this meeting to take place for them to ambush. Like if he can draw as many of his comrades to this place. So Bracken will effectively feed the order to this man using Dominate Person to host a meeting to share reconnaissance in this location. And it's basically just immediately just arrange to stitch up for any who answer that call.
Excellent stuff.
Giving Peridek that kind of that information, so he's ready for that. We can't stick around, but he's sticking around so he can wait for that to occur.
He gives a nod, and back to exactly how he was before all this happened. He looks upon himself. He checks. He looks the right part. He shifts his helmet a bit, gives a nod, and then just walks out.
An excellent plan, Bracken.
Peridic looks to the two of you and says, "Well, you have given us an advantage indeed. We can deal with this one here. Well, the militia can deal with this one. Please, come back to mine, at least just for a moment. One, I would enjoy the chat. It has been a long time since I've spoken with any of the other lords from Highkeep, even one such as you, and two, you must have some stories to tell. And
who doesn't love a story?
Who doesn't love a story?
Well, we didn't.
I mean, you must need a place to stay as well, and I have plenty of rooms available.
I was about to say we didn't buy a room yet, so if you're open to offering us hospitality, we'd be glad of it. But of course, it is down to you, Conrad. There's no word from your home. If you would prefer to leave this very night, so we make good ground, the call is yours to make.
Probably better to make the ascension during the day, although actually it's a few days away anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, a few days away, and the actual journey up, I know I said last time it was about a day. That's a slight exaggeration. It would be like 5 hours, kind of. It's a long path to climb up.
It's a big old trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no need to go tonight, I don't think.
Then you are my honoured guests for this evening, my lords. Please, with me. As Peridic leads you out of the sleeping elf, and he takes you through the streets of Lions Bay, and he takes it to a house that you notice the shape. The houses start to get a little bit bigger and a little bit more resplendent. And we're not talking a palace or a mansion here, but we are talking a sizable property. And what sits is part of a terrace of sizable properties. This one hosting a rather lavish front to it, and a small garden as well. But as he takes you through into his property, it is, for you, comrades, there is something about a lord's house that always feels very much of Highkeep and of Levelis. There are styles, the leather furniture, even the artwork. One thing, Bracken, you notice as you're walking through, you spy in what you think is a study, an interesting-looking map on the wall, which I'll just bring to your attention now. It's a map that seems to list particular regions and also what seems to be notable houses per each. And you can see that it has been sketched upon, and the names added on to certain areas.
Very nice.
I can send that directly in the chat.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So you can see, Lords. Yeah, Lords of Valiant being the primary, the leaders, but also directly responsible for the region in yellow. House Strata running the area you're currently in. Then you have House Espar just below the Lords of Valiant, House Belladon, House Guio, House Liorban, and finally House Maine.
Yes, Maine, you said we're at sea. That makes sense. They must have some seafaring capability. As must most. I mean, they all share a coast. Bracken will look in interest. A million questions sparking in his brain, but he will look to the Dartain, and he will say, "Might I be so bold as to have this map, or at least would you allow me to copy its details?
This work of art, I would take it.
I would just have it. He moves to a desk and fumbles around until he finds another copy of the map. Copy of the regional map. He says, I would appreciate if you don't take it. You see, I'm still trying to memorize all the houses, and as much as I know the Lords of Valiant and House Strata, I'm still learning the lords in the other regions. But feel free to take this and make a copy.
Looks disappointed, and he says, "Well, that is a shame, for I am very fond of the colours."
Well, the colours will be yours in a moment, as I will send you in our chat. There you go.
The secret chat.
A secret chat.
The chat hat.
Excellent.
That's most gracious of you. Thank you. Is there anything that we should know about the wider region? For if we leave for Highkeep in the morning, we would be traveling to the west. To the look of this map, our next port of call would likely be to travel to Valleydale. Would that be right, Conrad?
Correct. Valleydale is basically the only civilized route up the mountain.
Yes, your Lord of Vizin is correct. That's not to say you couldn't try scaling the rest of
Yeah, there are always paths and routes, but it's a long journey otherwise. A hard journey otherwise.
You know what's annoying is that I had down the name of the mountains and I have just completely misplaced it.
Oh no!
Oh,
Those mountains have names. What they are,
There's
cannot remember.
the big mountain.
The
There's
big one.
the
Yep.
pointy mountain.
Pointy mountains.
okay, that's gonna absolutely.
Well, that's all
Annoy
right.
me.
We can learn another time. We're not even near the mountains
Yes.
yet.
You're nowhere near the mountains.
Are there any threats, or is this quite a well controlled land? I mean, we will be traveling through the wilderness, it looks like. There's heavily forested areas. Is there anything to look out for?
This area especially is quite quiet. There used to be a lot of traffic between here and Valleydale and as such, the settlement of Highkeep, but of late, very little. And I doubt you will encounter anything untoward. We've not for a very long time has there been stories of beasts that have moved through these parts, so I would not expect trouble. But what does concern me is the lack of anything. The Rains may have more information, but they're based in Valleydale. So if Highkeep is your destination, then they will be your first point of contact.
Side question, unrelated to all of that. I'm assuming that the locations in each of the house areas are the sort of seats of power of that area. So it's
Yeah.
Ring house.
Yes, so that are named areas, because I've also removed a few bits from this regional map. But the named areas being where the main seats are, so Strata in Lions Bay, Gladegate for Guio, Liorban in Alain's seat, Maine in Joust, Belladont in Great Ember, and House Espar in Etervis.
Great. Okay, go on, Rob. You were asking something more relevant.
No, not at all. That was a really good question, to be fair. What was I going to say? Oh, you were saying that you were looking for spies to begin with, that you've heard rumor of them, and that's what drew you to the Sleeping Elf. Have you any other leads as to whether they'd be operating in the larger area? Perhaps if we leave the settlement, there'll be maybe more waiting for us.
I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, we're doing this kind of on the edge of our seats, really. We've had very little guidance. House Strata, over the last couple of weeks, has made much more of an effort to start mobilizing ships in the bay, but they're taking great care to be under the guise of other vessels. So, should an attack come by sea, they will be caught off guard. But without the finishing decision being made, everyone's just waiting. Will we help? Will we stay? Will we defend our borders? Will we go into Vardel? Will we head to Pantera? We don't know. So everyone here is just a little bit on edge. I'm doing what I can here to help the people. And I know some have already left. They've volunteered to go to the front.
Well, we shall see if we can hurry a decision along. Find out what the hold-up is.
Every day that passes, the more I just think, what something bad must be going on. A week, fine, people can take their time. A fortnight, maybe a messenger got lost. But a month? No. No, something's not right. But before we retire to bed, please, a story. So you say you've freed a nation, but what?
And more.
And more.
Well, I was away for a long time. Well, a good few months. What tale to tell? How about a tale of our good friend Orazio Grizzly Scribe? He was an archer from a great family of monster hunters. We stumbled upon him, all answering the same call to investigate a deep cave. And he lived up to his great family purpose. He slayed many a beast. He brought Warforged just to the very point of inactivation. Never further. His skill was such that he didn't even need to slay them. He just left them inert to tell of his accuracy and mercy.
They said he let fly many shots. Yes, they would go on to call him the inert arrow.
The inert arrow.
Which
Wow.
does sound like a euphemism for a rather unfortunate condition, but I assure you there was nothing nothing fell short when it came to Orazio and his company.
And he was but one member of the Free Company, the great group that we led together.
Though he did have a troubling penchant for aiming for people's eyes, but that's another story. Yes, there was Trout, the halfling. a deft weaver of shadows, and well, he was very sneaky. I
Such was his skill.
such
He
was
once assisted us in destroying several oozes with no trousers on.
with not even a pair of
Oh, he
trousers.
sounds like a character
Not even
indeed.
a pair of
Not even a pair of
Wow.
trousers did he bear, and with his own trout free to the world, many enemies fell before him.
His own throat.
Yes, he was a deft of skill, had the incredible balance, and was a dab hand with a cudgel. He would again favor to leave enemies alive, that they may tell the tales of their encounters with the Free Company. He was a pacifist through and through, but it is sad that the enemies that he faced were not so broadly minded. He fell.
I have yet to lose a comrade or a brother in arms, but I can imagine it is difficult.
It is
Yes, that's weigh heavily on us.
It is the sad reality of our chosen lives. We move in circles of power, influence, of shifting events, and high adventure, but sadly the cost is oft those closest to you. They're both in a better place.
And we know that for certain.
Yes.
Well, that is. You seem to have shown great mercy over these last months.
We've tried to learn from our two companions. We're not always so merciful, I must say.
No.
Well, dare I strike the ire of de Vizier?
There was a
It is a
tale where
shame.
we faced up against a Hydra when we were not so merciful, but that is another tale for another time. And I do apologize, D'Artagnan. My tongue moves freely once I have had an ale or two. Please speak.
Quite all right, and I'm glad you are comfortable. Oh,
A little bit of feedback.
just a smidge of feedback. It is a shame, you see, that... No, from somewhere.
Oh,
The ether.
It's okay. You seem honourable. You carry what many of us hope to achieve. You have an air of experience about you, of tales. You have bested monsters and seen the world. Many lords and knights would dream for such an opportunity, yet you will have your work cut out for you, de Vizier.
Great tell is that.
Your name does not carry the same weight it used to. We know you are close to the Lavalians, but after what happened. Although nothing has occurred, the perception from us and from everyone around us, other lords, down to serfs and everyone in between, they see you of disgrace, and that of the family as well. And they don't know if you ran away. That is the current thinking, that you struck and ran. And I don't know what really happened, and I don't think I need to know. I don't want to know.
Well,
but I
all
talk
that
to you now, and
matters-
I see an honourable man.
When I left here, I was young and brash, and I believe these past few months have changed me. And I wish to prove that change to my family and to the lords and ladies of Highkeep.
And I think you can do it.
I hope so.
Before I retire, he pulls out his sword from his side. He did not pull it out as he was closing on the enemy with his fists earlier, but you look at this and it's very much a rapier of the area. It has a long, overly intricate design to it. But he pulls it out.
Needlessly intricate.
Needlessly intricate. They say that the Revaliants and those in Highkeep can make the best music, and I'm still learning. Would you care to play with me? As he brandishes his sword towards you.
What a sentence.
The finishing touch.
Conrad will say, it must be said that my sword singing skill is also leaves something to be desired, but I suppose, given we have triumphed in a battle of sorts today, it would be appropriate. And he'll draw his sword as well.
He takes you out back into his yard, and it's with the light of the moon coming in, you can really get a glimpse that Peridek is not much older than you, really. He's young, he's inexperienced, he doesn't have the weathering that you have suffered through months of hardship. He is clean, he is ignorant to what is going on. And just for fun, what would it be? Roll me a performance check.
Haha.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I would imagine you have, by nature, perform sword singing, whether you've got ranks in it or not.
Yes, I don't have any ranks in it, but I can use my skills. There we go. A 10.
You're both able to muster a tune of sorts. Bracken, I don't know how you react, but it's very much like people playing on the recorder for the first time. It's
10 is all right.
a 10 is all right.
An average,
It is,
yeah.
yeah. We're not talking like Three Blind Mice. We're talking like people who have been practicing for a while, but they haven't like progressed to the saxophone or the violin. They're still on the first instrument.
I'm sure some people play the recorder long into their lives.
People do. I mean, it is. You remember for a moment how Conrad played at Rosewind Point.
Orazio's, yes, Orazio's service, yes, is passing.
Yeah, and you know Conrad is more than adept at singing with the blade. Maybe he's holding back. Maybe he's had a few to drink, but you know that Conrad is far more capable and adept sword singer, blade singer. Peridic, on the other hand, is as you expect. He is making some sound.
He's making some sound.
Sound.
Just to make clear, then,
However,
the blade, the Conrad's moving the sword in a way to make it actually sing, right? That's the idea behind it, isn't it?
Yeah, the swords have got sort of almost like rivulets cut into them, and
yeah, like holes, bits, just enough so that when they move, they make the sound of something passing through. The overly intricate rapiers.
Yes. Very cool.
yes.
Well, that was a fine fine expression of your culture. I will leave you both, for I have work to compose before I rest this evening, and I would like to make an early start as well.
Yes. It has been a pleasure, and I hope when this blows over, you are always welcome here. Or perhaps we shall dine at Highkeep after you have spread your tale, and everyone can hear what you have told me and see you in the light that I see you. Maybe then we shall banquet together, and I can hear more of your tales as the Free Company.
You will be the first name on the list of invitations, and Conrad will offer a hand for a warrior's grip handshake.
Are we talking the "you son of a bitch"? That's an intense look. Just like,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
I look forward to it. And as much as I'm eager to travel with you to see what happens, I know I need to stay here. But to bed.
Yes, you've got important work to do.
That we have. He takes you both upstairs and takes you to fair rooms. Calm down, Conrad.
Stop saying takes us.
He guides you upstairs.
Thank you. I'm not sure that's much better, but we'll go
Okay,
there.
he shows you to your rooms, your individual rooms. And to an extent, Conrad, this is smaller than you're used to. I mean, the Divisiers are so close to the lawn. How's it gone already? God. Oh. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about the rest. We're just going to say you sleep well.
It's lovely, but it's not as grand as...
It's most certainly not as grand as where you have been. The Divisiers are... They are very closely tied to the Lords of the Valiant, as you know. And albeit you are not based in the main, splendor of Highkeep, you are in accommodation befitting your status. But it is still, after everything, being at sea, travelling Kellawin for months into different dimensions as well. This is just a moment of as you sink into a soft mattress and breathe.
I'm fine. Don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And Bracken, I imagine you're doing your normal writings.
Yep, this is normal writings. He's composed a scroll. I get rid of the monetary value, and then he will go to bed and rest.
Excellent stuff. Morning dawns, and you well, the day is yours. Peridic serves. Well, he has served for him a mighty breakfast for you all.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for the breakfast. That was very tasty. We're going to leave now.
An excellent spread.
Glad you enjoyed it. The cooks and the chefs are brilliant at what they do.
Bye.
I was waiting for something, and that was just okay. He gives you all a nod. He gives you a final farewell. Conrad, he gives you another handshake as he sees you out. He partly guides you out of Lions Bay, and then the road opens to you. And I think that is a nice moment just to take a breath, go for a quick break, and
Calm down.
leave the questionable Peridic behind us. Which really wasn't intentional. It was. Oh well. So
very appropriate for the type of adventure this has become.
questionable adventure. Excellent. Well, if you like what you're watching, please give us a like and subscribe. If you have been watching for a while and you still haven't, please do. Here and on YouTube, and that'll be for Performance Check, Rob's channel, which hosts all of our games. And I promise Rob's goons aren't threatening me to say this. But with that, thank you very much, and we shall see you after the break. And we are back after Dom's cold shower and a few cups of tea.
My cold shower.
You said you were going. You said you were going for a cold shower.
Definitely needed it
I
after the
meant it as a
content
suggestion.
of that scene. Yes.
Yes, it got. Anyway, we find ourselves leaving Lions Bay, and you are heading forth to Valleydale. Is there anything you are doing whilst you're on the road? Are you looking out for anything, or are you just going to go straight?
He just dwells on the words, the parting words he gave to Peridic, which is that he gives warning that eventually the Dominate spell will wear off. But so once he's captured all those guys, that the plan is to also make sure that he keeps tabs on that guy and captures that guy along with them, and then eventually that spell will wear off. But that being said, with the journey ahead, morning spells, Bracken begins his morning castings, so that certain effects will be upon his person that will last the day. And he will look to Conrad and say, "Well, this is your domain. Lead the way."
Yes. It's a path I know well from my childhood. And Conrad will set off towards Valleydale. I guess he's probably not actually been on the path that many times, but enough to know the way, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there is a memory, and you would know the rough direction to take. And yeah, as Peridic mentioned, there is a road that looks travelled, but at the moment there isn't much in the way of people or carts or anyone. But it doesn't deter you. You press forward, as you can see, and I have the name now, the Beggar's Folly. So the Brigand's Folly. Call it Beggars. The Brigand's Folly in the distance. You know there Highkeep sits. You can't see it from here, but it's in sight. It's in sight. It is almost home. And for the couple of days you have ahead of you, for the first You don't really encounter many other people either. There is a sense that where you are, people don't want to be out. That even the wildlife seems to be avoiding the roads at the moment. Not necessarily fear, but uncertainty. But as sun sets, you find just somewhere to set up camp. Anything you do in the evenings?
I'm presuming that the road, like, it feels abnormal to Conrad as well. The previous times that he's travelled it, it's been a bit more sort of bustly and
Absolutely.
busy.
You remember traders. You also know up and down this road, people would just stop and set up stalls and sell food and snacks and just things they had, been crafting. This was a very busy thoroughfare. It was the main road between essentially the capital of the region, the primary settlement, and the main port of Lions Bay. And from Valleydale, I mean, there were a few other paths, but Valleydale and south would open you up to the rest of Levelis. It would be very difficult unless you were directly in Highkeep to.
Sorry, my sound has gone again.
Oh. If I'll keep talking just to give you something to work with. And hopefully you can fix his sound. The backup headphones. How about that?
Yeah, that's at least audible.
Good.
Apologies.
No problem at all. But yeah, you know that with the exception of a few places, and even then in Highkeep, it's difficult to get around Levelis unless you cut through this part of this land between Valleydale and Lions Bay. It opens up the other houses or regions. If you want to get to Gladegate through the Heart of the Unicorn, you pass through here. You want to head north into Vardell, it comes through here. There is a lot of people that should be here. And it's unsettling. Maybe not weird, you're aware with the war going on, but it is most certainly just not right. You're just used to people here.
Yeah, I'll relay that to Bracken as well. That this should be a place of people and travel and of life, rather than this strange sort of absence that it seems to have become.
Very curious. We will have to remain vigilant and be wary of those that we do see if we encounter anyone on our journey. Or we will have to uncover the source of this silence. Were that I knew someone in Highkeep, I could use an orb of scrying to look upon their position, but as I don't know anyone there, I can't.
Unfortunate. I could describe a fair few people, but I don't suspect that'd do you any good.
No, there are other spells, but I'd have to prepare them, and I think it might be better to just wait and see for
Just
now.
see for ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, it has to be a particular target that I can look upon. And having never laid eyes on your home, all we can do is just be ready. Let's get some rest and continue on the journey.
Indeed. And I couldn't help but overhear in the talk of your former captors. Does their presence concern you at all, Bracken?
Their presence does concern me, yes. Though I took significant steps, as you'll recall, to ensure that they would never remember me. So if we do run into their ilk, it would at least satisfy my curiosity once and for all to see if it fully, truly worked.
I suppose we can only hope that it did.
It would be a severe disadvantage if it didn't. And we
Very
rest.
Well. Let's get some sleep.
Is there a resting order?
Take it in turns.
I think, yeah. You've got to do your. You've got to have 8
I'll
hours.
go first.
Haven't you?
Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, I do. I do need 8 hours. So,
But
I
I mean,
guess
either way, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess it would make more sense to go first.
Yeah.
Bracken
Unless you have a
will-
spell prepared.
Well, actually, yeah, this is the thing. We're camping out in the open. We don't necessarily need to camp out in the open, do we?
Oh yes, forgotten.
I don't actually. No, actually, looking at it, I don't think I actually prepared it. So we are camping out in the open. No, I don't. But what I do have prepared
Sleep in the lap of
is.
luxury.
I know, but what I do have prepared is alarm. So I will cast alarm on our area. So should any one enter, meaning as harm, we will have an alert. But other than that, yep, Bracken will take the first watch then, and then in that time he will spend. No, you know what? He'll take a night off making scrolls.
You're running low on money.
Not low, but like I need to. There'll be a time where I'm like, oh, I really need to make one, and maybe I will have run out. So yeah, I'm fine for the moment for scrolls. So he will instead just pore over a book. Maybe he'll look over that map that was given to us.
Yes. Is Conrad doing anything, or?
I think his new routine of stretching and trying to ease the knots in his muscles and taking care of himself.
I mean, it's a remarkable change considering it's been less than a year, but
A lot's happened. He's been to hell and back.
yes. Nothing bothers you in the night. The alarm goes without a sound, without triggering. It's restful, don't get me wrong, but yeah, no disturbances.
Very well, let's continue.
And you advance. You are moving your way through the trees. You can see there's a small, small from our view, but there is like a copse of trees that sits just outside of Valleydale. And you are moving through these. And you both give me a listen check.
Ooh, a listen check. Okay.
18.
My listen is 20.
Ooh, nice.
20. There we go. Conrad, you hear something and you think maybe it's just the wildlife. But Bracken, you're able to hear what sounds like a conversation. You're in a position where you can just about make out what's being said. As if I do this, I will say this: Firefox, the page setup, just doesn't. It just is awful.
Not doing it for you.
It's not. It's not Chrome. But I digress. You should find yourselves standing, overlooking at the bottom of an escarpment. You can see some people moving around, some hustle and bustle. Bracken, you can make out a few common things being said. Sovereign being one of them.
Bracken will sort of like put his finger up to indicate to Conrad that we need to be quiet for a second and point out that down the escarpment there is an encampment. They speak of the Sovereign, this Orion. Looking is the figure that we sent off under the Dominate spell.
No.
Okay. Do they what? Because like I'm looking at the tokens, they all appear to be an array of different tokens and different peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Are they small folk? Are they armed? Are they up to no good?
They're all human, but they all appear, as you say, dressed in different guises. Like someone over here appears as a merchant. Someone over here looks as if they've been on a farm. Some look in slightly better dress than others. You can also just about spot at the top what looks like a camp, or at least a tent, covered in leaves and grass.
Like camouflaged.
Are they spies?
We have two options really. We approach loud and conspicuous, or we can be more subtle. What do you think?
Well, I'm not terribly good at subtle, but it would be good to. Perhaps it would be good to try.
Maybe it is time to, shall we say, put on a bit more disarming guise. One that they won't feel threatened by.
Oh yeah.
Bracken sort of like whirls his cloak that he wears around himself, and in an instant he is bent over. He looks even more shabby. His hair is now like sprouting like white bits. Like he looks incredibly decrepit. His robe's now like a dirty blue, and then his final finishing touch, he sticks on a fake long nose and then pulls down like a brim of a wide hat, and he goes, "Blue bones might garner something interesting from them, for I am just an elderly man just trying to and he will cast Featherfall and sort of like roll down the escarpment as if he is like taking a fall. and like tumble down there and go, oh goodness me, oh, and like make a total scene.
You notice a lot of the people here are turning around and just some look scared. Others seem a bit more on edge.
Okay.
And one of them comes towards you. Someone who seems actually genuinely a bit more concerned. Like, are you all right?
Oh, please help me up. I'm just an old man. I'm broken and nearly double broken now that I've taken a tumble. My goodness me, I didn't even see it. Oh, my back. Oh.
Before we go any further, can you give me a disguise check, please?
I can. I thought you'd never ask. Oh, 26.
He looks at you like, "Oh yeah, you come here. Let me help you up. It's just. I hope you've not hurt anything. Oh, you've had a bad fall, haven't you? Oh, come here."
Yes,
And he
goodness me.
helps you back to your feet. Do you need a stick or something, or a cane?
I have one here. He holds the staff of transmutation in his hand, now guised as a simple walking staff.
I. Would you like to join us and the rest of the refugees? We
Oh, I
don't have much
wouldn't
food.
want
But...
to be too much trouble. Refugees, you say?
Yes.
Displaced from the war, I imagine.
Unfortunately, yes.
That is dreadful. Now, I don't wish you to be alarmed, but I do have my bodyguard who is meant to prevent this sort of thing from happening. He shouts up the escarpment.
Conrad will emerge, and I think he will cover the identifying what's it called? Coat of
Sigil.
arms sort of thing. Crest,
Yeah.
yes, sigil.
It's an osprey, isn't it?
It is. It's a diving osprey specifically. But yes, he will. He'll come down and say, "Oh, sorry, master. I was searching for berries in the bush."
He's in the bush. I
Hmm.
don't pay you to go foraging. I bloody pay you to watch out that I don't go walking over cliffs.
But
The
you were
gods
complaining
above.
so that your belly was aching.
Well, my belly does ache. Haven't eaten for bloody 3 days.
Can you both give me a bluff check here? And I will take the better option because you are working together here.
26.
We have the same in bluff. 22.
We'll go with comrades here then, as you are working in tandem for this bluff. Well, I don't think I've seen any berries around here. We've just been trying to hunt for some game or even a rabbit, but they're all hiding in their burrows. I think they're just as scared as we are.
Goodness me, how you must be afraid. Your ragtag company all alone in the wilderness.
Well, we're all hoping to move forward. We know what's it called? Valleydale, I think someone mentioned is nearby. That or Lions Bay, the other one.
Yes.
Which do you intend to make for?
Well, Valleydale is closer, so I would we would head there soon, I would imagine. But well, as you can see, there's a fair few of us.
Well, there's still plenty of the day to go. Is that right? Is that
Oh,
right,
of course,
Mike?
yeah. Yes.
plenty of the day, and it appears that we share. At least we may share the road you walk on, for we journey to Valleydale. You will pardon my rudeness, what with the tumbling down such a height. I have completely left my manners above there. I am Blue Bones. And this is my bodyguard, Darnock.
A pleasure to meet you.
They call me Griff here.
Griff
Well, my
here.
father called.
Very nice to meet you, Griff here.
And where did you all come from? Obviously the war, but one place or many?
Most of us from Raiken's set. A couple from Dorhaven. Currently in occupied lands.
I see. Oh, you must have been through a dreadful time. Were you forced to leave homes?
Some shops. We had a small homestead just outside of Raiken's set, but...
And what happened? How did you become displaced?
This army just... We had heard rumours that Vardale was losing ground, and then like a wave of black, it just struck, washing over the land, and their army came through the settlement, and they took some of the elders, they destroyed any in their way. It was merciless.
I feel like there's no reason to disbelieve this, but would you permit a sense motive to...
Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
Very kind.
I think I'll take one too, actually.
Oh, fuck.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, please do.
And again, it might not be much better. 25.
It's much better.
You sense that he is drawing on memory, but not necessarily telling it from the right perspective.
Oh, you cheeky bastard.
There is a slight empathy in how he talks.
What's that again, sorry?
There is just a slight detachment of empathy that gives him away.
Like, looking at him, like, is his clothing, like, hiding? Because considering how Bracken is, like, well accomplished as an artist of disguise, can I not tell if someone else is bearing a disguise of a refugee and actually has the
Give me
bearing
a
of something
search or a
else?
spot check, whichever you could argue.
Spot is good, search is better, so I'll go for search. My search
Yeah,
is
just
amazing.
as you're listening to him, your eyes are just scanning and just flickering up and down, trying to spot anything.
Can I do a spot? Because I wouldn't be actively looking, because I think I probably believe him.
Okay.
21.
17.
You don't, with a 17, really notice anything. 21, though. You spot, as he's moving, it looks like you can make out the shape of a dagger, kind of like underneath his ankle cuff. Where his shoes go, you can almost make out, just as the wind moves, the wind is pushing and just revealing like a dagger just kind of sheathed on the shin. A further glance up, and you swear for an instant, as the wind blows a bit, you can spot just a little glint of the similar kind of vial of whatever it is you found. You didn't really investigate that, but you found a suspicious kind of vial of something on one of them. But you noticed for a flash, as if you could spot it just kind of in the pocket, something not too dissimilar. So yes, there you go. Whilst Conrad's loading, you spot things. You find suspicious items.
Yeah, so Bracken not only makes note of the fact that he's carrying a dagger, probably not uncommon, even if it is a refugee, of course, you would carry a weapon to protect yourself, especially in these troubled times. But then Bracken's eyes falls upon the same vial, seemingly containing the same substance that he took off that man. And he'll nod, and then he will give the man a knowing smile and look at him with a twinkle in his eye and say, "It is heartening that even in these troubled times, there are still those to be found that share a similar cause." And he reaches out and shows the vial of the same substance.
Brilliant. Very clever.
Wait, does that mean...
Yes.
In a quieter voice he goes, "The Sovereign."
Long may he reign.
Well... He turns around and walks back in. And he just says to the rest of them, "One of us, don't you need to worry, guys, we can go back to it." And he turns back. "I'm sorry to have doubted you. You must understand, whilst we are here, we must maintain an element of disguise. We can't give away just yet that we are looking beyond Vardor's borders, as I'm sure you've been told already. That is a impressive get-up you've got going, though. Did you kill someone for it?"
Me or him?
Well, both of you.
Oh, we've killed many people.
I mean, that is an hour and a half, and, well, I don't know, but you must have been in service for a very long time. Blue Bones, was it?
Yes, that is my name, yes.
Did you have anything to report?
We report to the Sovereign.
As you know, all intelligence goes directly to the Sovereign.
That it does. Well,
Tell me, Griff here. Don't you think that you're making our effort look a little conspicuous, so many of you in one place? Were the enemy to strike, why, all of you would be made.
we're not here for much longer. Meadow over there and the two others are going to head to Lions Bay in a short while. Me and this group here are off to Valleydale, and the group by the campfire up there, pointing to the group here, are going to go further south into Gladegate. The more intel we can get, the better, don't you think? Have you come straight from the line, or have you been here for a while?
We have been in Lion's Bay.
Oh,
Yes.
the lion. Sorry, I thought you said the lion. Yes, 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 of course.
Things go very well indeed. An excellent sect of Subterfuge is working there.
Well, that's good.
Have you managed to garner anything that would be useful for us yet?
Nothing yet. Last I heard, that Sovereign was looking to find a way over the hag, but
A difficult river to traverse, no doubt.
well, fine for one or two people, but for an army,
Not so easy.
it's not so easy, as we know. We almost got caught. Whew.
How
Just
did you
2
manage
days.
to make it through?
Oh, you go far enough downstream. It is deep, but there is time to cross, and it is wide enough that the view can be obscured. But yes, 2 days for everyone here.
A long travel. Far to come.
Yes, it'll be I'm telling you something. I'm looking forward to finding a bed. It will be wherever it may be. Do you know of any good spots?
Well, what, in Lion's Bay or?
Anywhere.
Well, we've always found that resting on the ground is sufficient when serving a cause as magnificent as ours.
I suppose so.
Serving the sovereign is enough to give anyone peace of mind as they close their eyes at night.
Indeed. Long may sovereign Orion reign. Well, do make yourselves at home. We're not here for much longer, but for the time we are, please.
Oh, we already feel very at home, thank you.
If
Very
there
at home
is
indeed.
any counsel we could offer you before you disembark in whatever direction it is that you wish to continue, then we will be glad to offer it to you.
Well, you seem very wizened, so if you can offer... What is it they say? Fear the old man in a profession where many die young. Is that what they say?
Yes.
So, maybe I don't
yes,
fear you, but I respect you.
Oh, well, it would be such an awful shame if you were to fear me, of course. It would be such a dreadful shame for you to be racked with terror.
I mean it. I would take any words of advice.
Well, what would you have counsel on, my friend Griff here? And I will offer it if I can.
Well, what is... You've obviously been doing this a long time, I can see, with your age, so...
Time.
No.
This is, for most of us, our first foray out of Haxel. What would you suggest to keeping up appearances?
You have to know when to keep your guard raised and when to lower it.
I see.
You're trying to trick no one in the wilderness, Griff here. For none pass this way. The land is emptied. There is no one to hear your conversation. In fact, there's no one around who can hear you at all.
Oh God.
I do apologize. I do apologize. I sometimes get very carried away with my work. Is there anything that you would know of my friend, Darnock? For he is a veteran of the cause also, and could offer you counsel, I'm sure.
Where did you get such armor then?
Well, that is a long story indeed. And just let it be known that Highkeep is a place... sorry, not Highkeep, I mean the...
Lavelis?
Lavelis, yes, is a place of great honor. And they do not take kindly to spies.
Well, we'll be sure to keep our guard up then. I hope you feel better, Blue Bones. And, well, as I said, we're all going to start making our own way off, so make what you will of the camp. We'll be leaving shortly. As Griffier heads back to the others here.
Blue Bones will look to Darnock. And we'll simply give the gesture, which means, shall we kill them? Shall we go for it? Shall we go for it? Shall we attack, or shall we leave it?
And Darnock will give the gesture back that indicates that they should kill them all by unfurling his chain. Quietly.
Where is Griff?
Here.
He's here. Blue Bones will say, Griff here. And as he turns around to look at Blue Bones will say, I know you said you'll be leaving shortly, but I think it's best if you hop along now. Can you please make a fortitude saving throw, please?
Oh no. Oh dear.
He slowly, rather deliberately, just lifts his hand like that. So he shows he's going to do it. Can you make a fortitude saving throw of 25, please?
No, he cannot.
Griff, or Griff here, as Bluebows has been taunting him by getting his name wrong.
Yes.
He calls out the name of a new form in a tongue long forgotten to the ears of this era. He calls him by the ancient name of an amphibian, a frog to be precise, as he casts baleful polymorph upon Griff here. and,
Not Griff.
and turns him into a frog.
Right. Is there a save for permanency that I need to...
Yeah, he'll receive that later on. So, he's failed the save, so he has transformed. If the subject remains in the new form for 24 consecutive hours, it must attempt a will save. If this save fails, it loses its ability to understand language, as well as all other memories of its previous form. So he
For lack of a...
he is himself, but in frog form currently, though he can't speak or do anything. He can only do what a frog can do, but he knows he's still Griff, or whoever he is. But in 24 hours, if he fails to save, then the transformation will be complete, and he will forever be a frog.
Well, for the lack, because there's nothing else he can really do here, I'm going to do this. Shrink him down and assume he's there. And at this moment, people start turning as there is a silent pause before as Griff, or Griffir, as you have been calling him, realizes what has happened to him, and they look upon you both, and I will ask you both, roll initiative.
And as initiative rolls, whoosh, contingency activates. Haste is cast upon Bracken and Conrad.
Ooh.
Do we get a bonus to initiative with that? I can't remember.
No, you don't. Sadly, it would be really good if it did, but maybe I should find a spell that does that and make that the contingency.
Oh my god, this chair is creaking.
That is 24 for my initiative.
Ooh.
16 for Conrad.
Bracken, quick off the mark. You have just horribly polymorphed somewhat into the form of a frog. What are you now going to do as you lead the initiative?
Bracken is going to open exactly the same way as he opened the battle the other day. Exactly the same. He casts invisibility, quickened,
Yep.
and his conjured form will appear. He wants it to appear like he doesn't want them to run the other way. So I think what he's going to do is his conjured form is actually going to appear on top of the escarpment.
You should have control.
He does have control, and he will stand there, so he's able to sort of survey over the escarpment. How high did you say that was?
I didn't, but it's 20, 25 feet.
Perfect. Yep, so Bracken's form appears there, and with my hasted movement, now invisible, I'm now going to have some fun with them. I'm going to flank them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Easy. Real Bracken will go here. And he's going to start sowing chaos from behind them when that initially happens. So Bracken's false form, his projected image, appears on top as if he's teleported up there. His real invisible form flanks to their left there, and that's his turn.
Very nice. We then move to these three standing by the pond. And they see what's happened. They see you've suddenly appeared on top of the escarpment, and Conrad being further below. So they all take a step this way. and from like their packs or their backs, they spend pretty much their entire movement just pulling out short bows and arrows, but they're unable to shoot, as it takes a lot for them to just unpack the weapons they've just stowed away. So that is the end of their turn. We then look to the ones by the tent. So all 5 of these here. And again, they see this frog ribbiting and what's been going on. First one, very bravely, is going to charge at Conrad. Charges to there, technically. I don't know which square you're actually in.
Yeah, I think that one.
That kind of makes sense. This one follows in behind. As these two are charging in, 5, 10, 15, 20. They're pulling out just knives that they've got on their persons. He goes there. He runs here. These come here. These guys spend time as well pulling out their bows, ready to shoot at you. But these two that have charged you are going to attempt to shiv you. What is your flat-footed armor class?
26.
26. That's possibly a fumble from one of them. Which... that is unfortunately a fumble for the guy who charges at you first. We'll find out what happens to him in a moment. I just want to check the other one.
Excellent.
The other one rolls a natural 20. So it's definitely a hit. And that... Sorry, it was 25, did you say?
26.
That's just a normal hit then. So we have 1 fumble and 1 hit. And I don't have the fumble table open to hand.
You fool.
You fool, I know. I can get it quickly. I know where it is.
They appear to be fighting really proficiently then, because that's like pretty impressive.
It appears that there is some training, but it's hard to guess how trained they are, how proficient they are. Here we go. Right. The fumble. I'll do this publicly. 59. That. Okay. He needs to make a strength check, DC 20. So I'm going to roll a d20 publicly. I won't tell you the modifier.
Yeah. He should roll again.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
He throws his dagger pretty much through the tent as he goes in for a slash across you, but he completely loses his grip as he does so, and he just throws it like a dart. And it goes into the tent, and it's just gone as it's cut its way through the tarp, and it's just clattered somewhere in the tent. He is now unarmed. The one who did land a hit on you, though, does 3 points of damage as a dagger finds its way somehow into a gap in your armor. Conrad, it's now your turn.
Well, I'm going to have to take 2 off to put into stone power to undo that damage in a second. And I think I'll just start by just hitting them both a lot.
Okay.
So I'll give 3 to one and then 2 to the other.
Of course, you're hasted. Yes.
Yeah. So to the first one, does 36 hit?
It does.
And then you can have these 2. 26.
Yep.
Even on a 2. And 16? Might be a miss.
Is that with your haste?
Oh, is it +1 for haste?
Wait. +1 armor class. +1 reflex save. Did you get +2 attack roll with haste as well? Am I getting that confused?
Yep, +1 to attacks, yep.
Oh, so that should be 17 then.
Then that is a hit.
Oh, excellent. So he takes... Can't do that maths. Just going to put 19, 19, 19. 71 points of damage.
Okay.
And the other one...
I'll wait for you to finish and then I will.
Does 37 hit?
Yep.
And does 27 hit?
Yes.
The other one takes 47 points of damage.
What is it like is you not only kill them, but you take one of them almost double below their hit points. If not more.
I think it's just an absolute sudden maelstrom around him. The chain is whipping round that they don't even see where it's coming from. It just like whips out, smacks them. They get hit on the other side, and then like each hit is like tears chunks of their body and also like smacks them.
Oh.
And like then the storm is still, and they just collapse to the ground.
Ow. It is brutal and very effective as they are broken, bloodied, and no more.
Then I will drop into the Thicket of Blades stance. And that is the end of my turn.
Bloody brilliant. We are cut to the final group. It is the 6 in the middle. And yeah. This one is feeling brave. It runs in.
They will take a hit on the way in.
Ah,
As they were foolish enough.
they were.
32 to hit.
Yes.
24 points of damage as they rush in. The spike chain flicks out one more time from being still on the ground and just and rips up the body.
Oh, no one. There we go. And they are absolutely brutalized, but they still stand, and we'll come to that in a second. This person is going to attempt to run to there. Do you provoke another attack?
I can only do that once. I don't think I have whatever the feat is that...
Combat reflexes.
Yeah, I don't have combat reflexes. Sadly.
These guys, they're just going to attempt to gang up on you. They've seen what you've done to them, but it's all happening so fast. They're dropping as they're running in, and they're all just going to attempt to just, well, pincer you, sneak around you. Death by 1,000 cuts, maybe. We shall see. These two here take a step this way, and again, because they're already on the way to move, they're looking like they're pulling out ranged equipment. Some short bows are looking like they're coming out from packs quickly as they spend their turn just getting everything out and getting everything ready to shoot at you or that wizard on the cliff, or so they think. But the attacks, and we'll do the two that are flanking you. Your normal armor class is
27.
27. That's a miss. That is a miss. That is a miss. And the last one, this one just here. What is it like as you're able to deflect all 4 attacks coming towards you.
I think Conrad is, as they come in, he takes almost like a defensive stance, and he just catches each dagger on his like braces as they try and hit him. Like he's just a little bit too quick for them, even in this like hulking suit of armor that he wears.
Yes. Excellent. And with their failed charge upon you, we find ourselves back to the top of the round. Brambleman, what will you do?
Blue Bones smiles from within invisibility as he smiles, like yellowed teeth can be seen beneath his like wiry beard. But obviously no one can see him. He just needs to just double check something. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine, actually. Just looking at it. We'll see how many this affects. He's going to move up towards the combatants. You're saying that the ones that hung back here, they're pulling out like ranged weaponry, right?
Yeah.
So if I go here, shall we say... Bracken reaches out a hand, and there is a sudden... rainbow blast. And the blast is a 60-foot cone.
Can you do a measurement for me and make
That's
that?
what I was hoping to do, yeah, because I want to obviously make sure I cast it exactly where I want it to be to get as many people as possible. That easily gets all of them. So each one of those, I'm sorry Mike, you're going to have your work cut out for you. But each one of them, and I believe that does include Mr. Frog, I'm afraid, is going to have to roll a d8 because each of them has their own different save, because each of them have their own different effect that falls upon them all. As he casts Prismatic Spray, an absolute eruption of different colours with a deadly magic effect to each colour. So they each need to roll a d8, please, Michael.
Okay.
So much fun because there's 8 of them.
Firstly, the music has changed. I'm putting the tense music on for them, not for you, because it's this hasn't gone well for them. The 2 in front, I'm going to literally just work across. The 2 in front of you, the closest, rolls a 7.
Oh, hang on. Right. Okay. So, okay. Are you going to have a way of remembering which one who rolled what? Or do you want me to note it down?
Hang on.
Just do each one in turn, can you?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the
Okay.
easiest. And if we get to a similar number, we know.
Okay, so can he make a will save, please? That is my level 7 spells, so that is 27, please. No, sorry, 26 will save,
He
please.
cannot.
So that individual is sent to another plane of reality forever. So he gets struck by violet, which means that the world just opens briefly and he falls into another dimension.
I've just deleted him if he's gone. Excellent
Okay.
stuff. The one next to him in green rolls an 8.
This person,
no.
sadly, is struck by 2 rays, so please roll twice.
6 and 5.
Okay, please roll a will save first, please. Same level, 27.
That's a fail.
They are struck insane as the insanity spell, and then please roll a fortitude saving throw as well.
Even lower.
Their face contorts with insanity for 1 second before they're instantly turned to stone.
Okay.
So she's turned to stone. Next.
Brilliant.
We'll just do that. Put a red dot there so we know. The frog.
Frog.
5. Uh-oh.
Same, please. Yeah, fortitude saving throw.
I'm going to assume with some changes here, so that is a fail. That's very low.
So the frog is now a stone frog.
Little froggy statue.
There's a pond there. He'll fit right in. Lovely. Okay, we move to the
Little
bottom
water feature.
3.
Okay.
The first of the bottom 3. 5 again.
A lot of
Fortitude.
statues.
That is a fail.
So that's another statue.
The one next to them is an 8. Oh,
Roll
no.
twice, please.
Oh, for God's sake. A 5 and a 7.
Okay, so you roll 5 first, so let's see if they get turned to stone.
They turn to stone.
And a 7, they automatically fail the will save in that case, so that statue is sent to another plane of existence.
It's gone. Next to it.
Next to them.
2.
Please make a reflex saving throw.
Finally, something that actually works in their favour, hopefully. Oh, what was the save?
27. Yeah.
1 off. 1 off.
They might survive. They take 40 points of acid damage.
They do not survive as they dissolve on the spot. We move to the top group and we'll go to the merchant. 1.
Reflex saving throw.
He does not pass.
20 points of fire damage.
Oh, he lives. He's burnt alive, but he lives.
You're alive.
Next. The one above him gets a 2.
Reflex saving throw, please.
Nope.
40 points of acid damage.
He also, as he dissolves into nothing, and then the last one, another 5,
Fortune saving throw, please.
creating a lovely garden here, Bracken. He would have to have criticaled, and he did not. He is joined as a statue.
This just absolute wave of magical carnage just ripples through their ranks. The people that are dying at Conrad's attacks, like behind them, they don't even see what's happening. Someone's sent to a different dimension. Most of them are turned to stone instantly. Of course, some people are melting from the acid. One survivor burns with the fiery touch of the arcane. Bracken has that version of Bracken, because he was just invisible. He casts a spell, he drops out of invisibility, his stick shaking, where's Blue Bones' knees knocked together, and he goes, "Oh!" That's his turn. That's his turn.
So what did you say?
He just laughs. He goes, "Oh!"
I
love the prismatic spells.
Between the two of you, you have absolutely just decimated the majority of these. We move to the third. They're all done. They're both either dissolved in another dimension. Sorry, they're both dissolved, stone, or stone in another dimension. So group 3 is gone.
Done in another dimension.
Group 1. There's only one of them. And he is going to attempt to flee.
Don't let him get away.
5, 10,
He won't.
15, 20,
I'll give
25,
chase.
30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He gets to there because he's just seen what's happened. And like in less than 10 seconds, everyone has just died. Except for a handful of people. This is one of the
Wave
worst.
of pure magic.
Of pure magic and a whirling frenzy of a chain. People are just dropping. He is running. We cut to Conrad.
So I'm just going to do the attacks again. So, like
This
all
one
random
is
attacks.
completely like it looks like a breath or a feather could just finish them off.
Okay, I'll give one attack to that person then, and I'll do my lowest attack to them. 24.
That is a hit.
Shocking. 24 points of damage to them.
They are just pulp.
And then the next person. I'll just go clockwise. That's a natural 20.
Oh, confirm it.
That's 37.
It's a crit.
Go on.
Do you want to do the crit now?
Yeah, I'd love to.
D100, please.
28.
That is standard critical.
Shame. I'll just do the damage quickly. 45 points of damage, all the 2s and a 3 there.
It is hard to distinguish with the pieces left which belonged to them and which belonged to the previous corpse you dropped there, as they die from your horrible attack.
I'll just continue moving around the circle clockwise. So this is the second hasted attack. 40.
Yep, that's a hit.
Uh, 24 to them.
They are still standing.
Then they take another hit. 42.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a hit.
24 points of damage.
They stand no more.
And then the last one, moving clockwise. 38.
Mm-hmm.
22 points of damage, so they got let off lightly.
They did. They are still standing. Can you give me, now that's all done, give me a description of what it was like as you essentially murdered 3 of them and almost a 4th in a whirlwind of attacks?
So this time it's more precision, knowing that he's surrounded. He's not just swinging it around. He's blocking, and then as he blocks, the chain whips underneath and like shatters one's rib cage, and they drop to the ground. Swings it around, blocks another attack. It swoops around, smashes into the guy's head, just like almost taking the whole face off with it. And then the last one just gets 2, like, broken one leg, broken the other leg, and then finally to the last one, just a firm uppercut. So they take a nasty hit, but not a devastating hit.
Oh, it is brutal and brilliant. And I mean, there's barely anything left of them. But I need to move to group 2, and the only lingering member of the second group is going to try and flee. They provoke an attack of opportunity as they attempt to clamber over the rock behind them. They're not trying to run, they're just trying to get over. Like, oh god, get out.
Yeah, so they take an attack of opportunity. 32, even on it.
Is a hit.
This is all +1 as well, by the way. I've forgotten to add 1 for haste. Let's not mess around. Let's just finish them off. 21 points of damage as they try and flee over the rock.
They unsuccessfully flee. You have unalived them. You have... they're just dead.
They're all
dead.
They are no more.
Lovely stuff. We jump back to the top of the round, and Bracken attempts.
Quicken is four levels above, right? The spell, isn't it? Cool. So I can do this. The one that flees. Can he first of all please make a will save of 25?
No.
He's running, and then all of a sudden, this sudden, violent force just hurls him 100 feet into the air.
Oh!
Bracken's consciousness changes from the one that's on the ground to the one that's on the escarpment. So, like, he takes the concentration of the vision that he's created, the image on the cliff. So now he's watching from above as his other self throws this guy up in the air, and as the projected image, he aims a disintegrate as he is thrown into the air. So he's gonna clay pigeon shoot him effectively.
Ow.
So unnecessary, I love it.
It is unnecessary.
Why not?
This is against his touch armor class. 31 on his touch.
Easily touches.
Fortitude saving throw of 26, please.
I mean, it's customary. I normally roll the disintegrate saves publicly.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Will this be the first time that disintegrate lands? I will happily tell you, he needs to crit. You have finally broken your disintegrate luck.
Now,
roll
disintegrate,
it up and
is it?
describe it.
Because I've just remembered I was looking at Sphere of Ultimate Destruction there. Disintegrate. Is it 40d6 at max? Because it would be at max.
It doesn't. I think Sphere of Ultimate Destruction goes up to level 25, I think.
Something like that, isn't it?
But disintegrate caps at 20.
2d6 points of damage per caster level to a maximum of 40. So this guy's hurled into the air. Bracken's consciousness switches zoom, into his projected image, and he takes aim, looses a disintegrate at the guy, and does 163 points of damage.
Holy shit.
I mean, if it wasn't disintegrate, I would be concerned what was left, but it is disintegrate, and he just shoots up and he lets out a scream, but even before he can vocalize it, he is but dust on the wind and scattered as the many spies of Sovereign Orion lie utterly devastated. Bravo. Oh.
What's a disturbance?
What could possibly have happened?
What could possibly have happened here? I wonder. Good of them to have left their camp for us. Conrad, he drops back out of the Blue Bones form to become the familiar Bramble Man.
Huh. A little uncultured for my tastes, but perhaps they have something of worth.
So let us view what they had upon them.
If anything.
If anything, give me a search check.
Oh, search is alright, yeah. Search, okay.
9. It's not one of my plus skills.
It's fine. I get that.
32.
I think you spend more time just picking bits off your chain, Conrad. Just like, let's clean this.
A bone. Or is that a tooth?
Bracken, though, you find a few supplies. You find another 2 vials of this concoction, the same you found earlier on the chap in Lions Bay. You can do a check if you like to see if you can figure out what it is.
I think I will this time because I did. Yeah, absolutely right. I did forget. I do actually have craft alchemy from
perfect.
before, so I'll do a craft alchemy check if that's all right.
Yes, please.
26.
This is, as poisons go, a fairly common poison. Taken from the root of the malice tree. This is malice root paste.
Hey.
It is contact, so you can only do it on, touch or on a weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
DC 16, first point of thing is 1 dex damage, and the secondary effects is 2d4 dexterity damage.
DC 16 fortitude save. Wow, okay. What was it called again? Malice?
Malice, but with a Y and 2 S's, so...
Malice.
Malice root paint.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, 1 dex is the first one, and then 2d4 is the second. Enough to slow someone down.
Certainly.
Could you also roll me a d100, please?
Go ahead, Conrad.
A D100, you say?
And Bracken will explain to Conrad as well about that poison. Yep.
A coward's weapon.
Yes.
You find 186 gold pieces.
Mm. Do you want
Between
that
everyone.
or scrolls? Bracken?
Oh, well, we can share it, Conrad. I don't expect to have all the.
It's not a lot of money, is it?
Well, not for us. Not for us. We have to remember. But for someone, it's a lots of money. Let's. Okay. Well, if you don't want it, I won't say no.
Yeah, no point.
No point. It's not even worth opening your character.
I've actually
sheet
not
for.
got that much money, to be fair, but it's just
You would
I
take
can't
it
be
then.
bothered to do them
Okay.
that. No. You spend it, so.
There we go. You also find they have daggers and short bows on their persons, nothing of great quality. You find in the tent there's what looks like some maps, like they're planning out where they're going to go. You find as well what looks like a cipher for the language you were deciphering earlier.
Lead it, mate.
Yeah, but there's one nonetheless.
Well, we should take that. Yep, we'll take the cipher, definitely.
That's pretty much it. And some dried meats, of course.
On the map, is there any
dry
points?
meats. I'll scoop those up.
On the map, is there any points of interest that they've noted? Any annotations? Any indication of further plans? Or
Currently, there's the maps sit where they've just mentioned. There's one in, it's like flags. There's one in Lions Bay, one in Valleydale, and then one in Gladegate. From there, you can see arrows like spreading, like one that seems to be going up to Highkeep, and one that seems to be cutting across to Alan's Seat, as if planning where they're all going to go. Beyond that, no, nothing too much. Seems like they were just starting to get established.
Bracken leans against a rock and takes a deep breath. He doesn't let on, but like to pull off that little trick, that little far too showy-offy trick, he actually had to spend quite a significant spell level to do that. So he sort of like leans and sort of like internally berates himself a little bit. Don't be stupid, Bramble Man, he thinks to himself.
Do you want to position these statues around the
lake?
Or amusing fashion?
Yes. That's Bracken will take the frog and balance the frog on one of their heads.
Of course, not on a lily pad, just on one of their heads.
Well, I don't imagine a stone frog will stay on a lily pad very long.
No, it would not.
Yes, he will. They'll arrange them by the lake, looking at the lake as if like some adventuring party will come along later on and expect that something came out of the pond to get them.
They'll think it's a Medusa or a
or a basilisk or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they dissolved. That's a statue. Oh, one of them went to another dimension. That was it.
Yeah, I wonder which.
Yeah, you should roll it.
We do have the reality maelstrom roll table to use for such a thing.
We do, and I can get that table.
Sorry, it's on the spell, so I can bring it up if you prefer. Or if you'd rather do it, Mike, so it's a surprise to us. That's totally cool. I believe.
Oh no, if you've got it right there, because I need to get the books open, I can get to.
Okay, yeah. Reality Maelstrom, I believe, has the table on it. Oh no, it doesn't.
And I will open the book.
Manual of the Plains, I believe it is.
Yes, it
We
is.
don't have to. We don't have to if it's wasting time. But
We've started, so we'll finish. Manual of the Plains, I have it here.
okay. I think it's a D100 table.
Well, the problem is, where in the book is it? Right, I'll give this
We don't have to.
quickest of 5s, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's going to take too long to find it. So I will keep on the hunt just in case I do find it. But
No worries. We'll come to it if it, for amusement at another time. We've still got a fair bit of the day
I have
to go.
it.
Hey, okay.
Give me a D100.
First one was 86.
86.
Hey.
They have ended up in the concordant domain of the Outlands.
Okay. Great.
Cool.
And then was that? I think someone else got sent to another dimension, didn't they?
Let's see where the
2.
statue went.
Yeah.
Where did the statue go?
70.
The statue has ended up on the blessed fields of Elysium.
Oh,
that's nice.
the place of heroes.
Place they have no right to be.
Well, there we go. I'll keep that table to hand in the
That
future.
is definitely the start of an adventure for someone. Like a low-level character gets transported to the plains of Elysium, and then some godlike entity awakens them from their statued form and say, "You need to change." And then it's like a whole redemption arc for them where they have to become worthy of the plains of Elysium.
That's your next player character.
That's the next character. Is that person?
What will happen to Olden and Flintbury? We just don't know.
Oh, Alden Flintbury.
Well, theirs is a story for another day, but ours, what do we do?
We should continue on our quest for the time being, Conrad. We should continue in the direction we were going, eh?
Yeah, no reason to change our path based on this, I don't think.
That's the wrong map. You just went into a
Ooh,
random
was
cave.
that?
Into a cave for a second, just like, oh.
You did. I slipped on my trackpad. I was like, I'm going to
We had like a little flash of some kind of
Well, you could have done
prescient
if you'd gone in a
moment.
different direction.
You had an ant-small moment. But yes, you'll find yourselves not too far from Ballydale. Short walk, a couple of hours. Won't take you long. Unless you wish to head anywhere else.
No, that's where we were heading, so that's where we'll continue to go.
We're going to go back. We're just going to leave. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're
We'll just
Borderlands
teleport away.
sounds nice. Let's go there.
You continue. And as you keep going, Brigand's Folly keeps getting higher and higher and wider, and just the scale of these mountains, which for you, Conrad, you're very aware of, but Bracken, there's just, as always, when you come across peaks and notable ones, is that there is always a daunting realization to scale of what, in this instance especially, what climb awaits you. But as you continue through, you find your way into a bit of life, actually, some noise, as before you, as you leave the woodlands. And we don't go on that map, we go on this map here. You find yourselves in a cozy place. You find yourselves in Valleydale. Conrad, I will point out as well, as you were heading in, you remember from your past, near the entrance, there was I wouldn't say an arena, but there was a site of sorts. You would remember.
Right.
There are people moving around. There is a bit of life here. Still not as busy as it has been before. You remember about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, when you were last here, Conrad. And there was a commotion. It was busy.
It was.
There was so much activity. And now it is very muted.
Well, Bracken, I didn't expect crowds to greet me on my return, but did expect a bit more than this.
Where is everyone? This is just so strange. It is unnerving. Very unnerving.
Feels almost as if war has already come.
And gone.
Mm.
And let's move to it closer.
You move through and...
Is it still? It's still the same day, isn't it? We haven't...
I mean, the sun is heading low,
Yeah,
but
that's fine. Yeah.
still the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It's... Valleydale has a very clear high street which takes you from the entrance all the way through to what would be the gates that would take you up the road to venture towards Highkeep. And you find there's a few people there selling produce. No one's really playing on the streets, though. They don't really throw you a second look.
Hmm.
Interesting. Shall we check out the path up to Highkeep and see if there's anything,
Yeah, so
any guard or anything? Because I think they said they were stopping people from going up there, weren't they?
yeah, there was some preventative measure or so. Yes, let's investigate.
Yeah. You make your way through the settlement, and quite right at the pathway, this, I don't want to say elaborate, but it's a constructed arch serving as a gate. You see there's a few militia just standing outside the front. There's 3 of them, and they all just look downtrodden and just lacking of any kind of happiness about them. They just look so miserable.
I'm going to look for one in particular. Who do I see first?
The one in the centre, the ones on the sides are kind of sat down, but the one in the centre is standing to attention just to be there. And Conrad, you can give me a level check, but the name was mentioned earlier, so this gets if you do remember, great, but you get a check to see if you recognise the crest that sits upon them.
It was Rain.
That it was. You see the crest of Lord Rain.
Is that Rain spelt like the weather or like a king's?
Hybrid of both. R-E-I-N. Rain, but no G.
Oh, like a horse?
Yeah.
Horses.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like the song.
No.
Do I recognise the person or just the crest?
Just the
a
crest.
representative of the house, not a person of the house.
This is not a lord. This is just someone who works for the house.
Very well.
I'm sorry, but Highkeep is... It's forbidden.
Really?
You go very close to him and he doesn't really flinch. I'm sorry, by order of my lord, I cannot let you pass.
Would that be the Lord Rain?
That is, yes.
Well, I don't mean to pull rank here, but I am of Highkeep. I'm a returning son. So if you'd allow me entrance, I'd be most grateful.
He looks to the other two. And whose family are you with? Which house do you sit?
I am of House de Vissier.
He doesn't really react. You know, I mentioned earlier about that kind of, you were the guy with the 1,000-yard stare because you kind of like knocked him out and that sort of thing. This guy has a legitimate sort of, like, he's just vacant. Like he's
Is everything
lost.
okay? Conrad will say.
I don't know. There's a despair. Just
Spare or not, you still stand before your lord, and you will show due etiquette.
You speak correctly, Keeper. My lord, your servant speaks true. I am sorry for my poor etiquette. And he steps to one side.
Oh, allowing Sep.
You are of the Highkeep Lords. I suppose it is your home. It doesn't matter anyway.
Why doesn't it matter?
They never come back. It's pointless.
How many people have gone and not returned?
Oh, I've lost count. Other lords, other houses, traders, messengers.
Have any given, or rather, have you received any indication as to why they do not return?
No, they just don't. They don't come back.
Troubling indeed.
Just be safe, my lord. Let your retinue protect you.
He offers a different protection, but more valuable than any retinue I've had in the past, certainly.
The Lord de Vizier requires no protection. This must be remembered in Valleydale going forward.
And Conrad will put his hand on the guard's shoulder and says, "Take comfort. We will return. We'll find out what's happening here."
I hope that is true.
Of course it is. Conrad de Vissier returns to Highkeep. And he'll set off the path.
And we'll take a moment to take a long, searching, studied, carefully look at that sort of like archway that you described. As this is, from what we gather, the last safe port of call, Bracken wants this to be a point where he knows well to teleport to. So you'll take a good, long, concentrated look at those pillars, and at the architecture, everything, the smells, the feel of the breeze here, to fully be able to identify this place as a location they can jump to.
Absolutely.
And then he follows in Conrad's long shadow.
And that you do. And what lies before you is a winding path. Not necessarily an easy one, but one that is still walked. It is worn. Many people have passed through here. Conrad, you know as well, this is a path that many would take, and for ceremony, for travel. And you know that you know this path well. You also know your legs are going to ache.
Those things.
Yeah. And you climb. And the way into the Brigand's Folly starts to get darker as the day presses on. There is no sign of Highkeep, and you know this, not until you really get to the end of the road, when it levels out to the precipice. Can you normally see home? But there is, like the guard, for the both of you, there's a slight tinge of despair. I need you both to make a will save.
Oh no. Would you permit me to use Diamond Defense?
I mean, yes.
It's one of the maneuvers, is why I ask. It's obviously out of combat, but... what was it? Will save?
Yes.
Lucky I did. It adds my initiate level to a save.
31.
You're both okay. But something does just creep. Like a voice, just not quite audible, but you can tell that something's just trying to just bring about this bleak feeling, this absence. But you shake it off, and you continue your climb.
Well, actually, Bracken, obviously we sense this, is going to do the renowned combination of detect and read magic.
That's good.
To try and detect that feeling and where it comes from. What is its source?
Yes, so we'll start with detect magic. There is magic in the air, as if like a fine mist. And you can sense it seems to be centered high above you. You would suspect the Highkeep area, potentially. You can see this seems to also extend quite far down below you, as if it is spread quite wide. As for reading it, there's a moment where you look at Conrad, and there is a similarity. You may or not remember this, but Conrad is Fey-touched. And there is a certain element of this that lingers in the air as well. A very similar thing between what has been bestowed upon Conrad and what you are seeing now. There is... This isn't a spell, more that it is something of the Feywild, like that kind of wild magic that's being channeled. But something about it feels dirty. It is not. You do not feel pure Feywild magic here. It's tainted. and there is an unfortunate familiar taint.
Bracken will, having sensed this, he says, "You felt that, did you not, Conrad? That weighty feeling that weighs upon your mind, your mood."
I did. I felt the despair the guard was talking about.
That despair finds its source from the wild, the Feylands, which you have been touched. In more than one way, he will smile blandly.
Yes.
But if that is nature, then what I sense is rot. The decay that all living things inevitably reach. There is something wrong. Very wrong if that power is present here. And so decrepit and broken down. We must be very cautious going forward. I've been frivolous up until now, Conrad, but I fear I've been playing at wizard. It's time I started acting like one. And he you know what, he's just going to dwell on that for a little moment more. There's no point in trying to speculatively cast spells at this point. He needs more information, so he'll just bend his head down and keep walking.
Tell me, Bracken, have you ever felt anything like this before? Obviously, the Fey Realms when we briefly entered it, but this is different.
It's all-encompassing nature. Reminds me of the tears of the Pale Knight. Some kind of effect being brought about, a creature's will affecting an entire land. But this is different. If there's anything else that Bracken picks up on or has experienced that is similar, Mike, please let me know. But that's the nearest comparison I can think of.
No, you're dead on. There is, yes, this is Fey wild magic, but there is an abyssal taint, a very familiar abyssal taint to it.
Oh, so there's abyssal on it. Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, that's why I said there's an all too familiar taint, and you started, I was like, oh, I'll wait, then you may have caught it.
Oh, no, that makes sense, doesn't it? My God.
And yes, the Pale Knight's kind of lingering effect was one thing, but that was more of a side effect of their lingering power. This is a direct influence on the land itself.
Conrad says, my mind turns to a thread we failed to pull early enough when we hunted the masters and eventually lost track of. Do you remember? I forget which master it was. Was it Lug? Zar and his pet.
That's...
We found Zar, but his pet eluded us.
Yes, that's that very fact has haunted me. Though now that you say it, it is something that we should definitely bear in mind. Definitely an option, but we still have more to learn at the top of the mountain, I fear, before we make a full conclusion.
Agreed.
But if what we sense is true, and the Abyss has come to Highkeep, then it will rue that it did so.
Well, let us bring that ruination swiftly.
It's so intense. Let's go, run.
Your pace quickens.
Yes.
Yes.
as you
Not quite an all-out sprint. But...
as you charge up the mountain with these, this new insight as to what's happening, lingering with you. You reach a point, Conrad, where there would be the opposite of Samwise Gamgee. One more step, Mr. Frodo, and this is the closest to home I've ever been. As you know, you turn around the corner, and as you do, you see before you an all too familiar sight. An all too familiar sight. There we go. You see the small settlements, and they have spread out since you've been away, of the immediate lower classes that live there, and the lords as well. But what strikes you right to the heart, there it is, the peak, and the keep that gives the settlement its name. Highkeep stands before you. It stands vigil across a silent land, but what strikes you as being radically different, however, is the abundance of flora that is most certainly alien. Giant mushrooms, vines, and roots in places breaking through the pavements, some as tall as houses. In places it seems as if you stepped into an enchanted forest, but in others appearing as a monstrous ulcer upon the landscape. There is a discordant breeze passing through, and there is almost visible specks of colour and magic, as that Feywild magic that you spotted earlier is almost visible to an untrained eye.
I think just before they turned the corner where Highkeep would come into view, Conrad would have held Bracken back for a second to do a sort of pronouncement of welcome Bracken to Highkeep in a sort of welcome to Jurassic Park as they step around the corner. And then the second he does, he takes it all in, and then the sort of the wrongness of it hits, and he just, that's not right. I don't know what that is, Bracken.
But we know enough. We know that it is wrong. We know that it encroaches on your home. And we know that we have to stop it.
Then there's no time to waste. Let's find out what's wrong with Highkeep.
I think that is a really nice place to leave it. As much as a bit more I want to do, that's a lovely cliffhanger. So, with that, let's just jump to there. Well, Highkeep.
Finally here.
You're finally there. Let's start. Who did I do first yesterday?
Yesterday.
Well,
Last week.
Last week.
It feels like yesterday. Then in this case, Dom. Thoughts, Conrad's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, my thoughts, because I come first. Screw Conrad. I love how Arthurian it is. The sort of, obviously the look of it was beautiful, but the sort of infestation thing is very Arthurian legend, isn't it? And fairy tale. So I love that. Conrad's thoughts are very, very mixed feelings. Obviously, it was always going to be mixed feelings. This is a place that he was essentially kicked out of, and he's just waltzing back in, and moreover, it's in a state, and this is a place that is romanticized in his head. It's like the very idea of it is romanticized in itself, but doubly so because he was forced to leave it, and it's really the only place that he's ever wanted to be is Highkeep, and to come back and it be overtaken is pretty devastating. But yeah, love the session so far. I love the spies, the fucking spies.
I loved the decimation that happened there.
And
Excellent.
I love the subtle undertones of romance between Conrad and...
I will say, I didn't want to say too much at the start, but I really just wanted to have a nice clash between what is essentially a really depressing situation at the end. I wanted to at least have something so off the other end. Otherwise, it was going to be a very down session. I mean, you're talking to people who are basically depressed. I was like, we have to at least go to the other end of the spectrum here and do something really silly. Otherwise, it's going to be a very dark session. But... and why not?
And why not?
Why not?
It's perfect for the setting. It's just it's a pretty camp place.
And Paradox
It's supposed to be.
person. Anyway, just as he puts back his headphones on, Rob, you and Bracken.
So I mean, as always, really enjoyed the session. It's just a continuation of that relationship that Bracken and Conrad has, which is just a dynamic. You can tell that they've worked together from low levels up into the high levels. Like they know how each other fight, and they can work together well. I did really enjoy learning a bit more, and I really liked the nod to things that are apparent within this part of the world. Like there was quite a lot of nods to the various houses. Like I mentioned last session, I was like, oh, I want to know more about those, and my goodness, yeah, you absolutely delivered. There's a political map with all of the names on them, and so yeah,
That's just scratching the surface there. If you want to know more,
no, but I like that, and when it becomes prudent, we will likely investigate and ask. So it's nice to know, yeah, for sure. But kudos to you there, man. That was really great, Mike. Just there's lots of depth there, which I really enjoy. To build on what Dom has already said, really, and what has already been sort of suggested, is that it does feel really Arthurian. The home that has been changed in the hero's absence, but that's sort of like the hero's journey as well. It's the scouring of the Shire. You come back from the big adventure to find that it's never going to be the same ever again, and it kind of feels like that. And the fact that we kind of have the hint that this is to do with someone that we have faced before, and potentially, we don't know for certain, but it's the Abyss. Like the Abyss is our primary adversary, and it has been for these characters the whole time. So the fact that its presence is in Highkeep is it's bad, real bad.
Followed him home.
The other thing about Arthurian legend, which people don't really realise, is that there's quite a lot of insanity in those stories. Like there's a lot of like losing a mind and stripping naked and running into the woods. Like, so I kind of feel like all these people sort of under this like depressive kind of like mind-altering effect. It kind of has that vibe, that kind of like almost Dark Souls in a way, kind of like people. Oh, remember when it was fine, and now it's awful. Like, I really like that's going on. And just to end my continual blabbing, I think my favourite part of the whole session was right at the end. We had that really beautiful music come on, and us, for the first time ever in game, lay eyes upon Highkeep for this hallowed place that we've heard so much about. We finally saw it, and we saw an image of it, and yeah, just the music, your introduction of it, Mike, everything about it, I loved. I absolutely adored that at the end. So what a close to a session, and I'm so excited to to learn more. And then as Bracken was a bit of an arrogant little shit in that, I think, actually.
I mean, it was warranted.
It was, but he's
Yeah.
also like trying to catch himself doing that because like he has these insane powers and he has to check himself, because if he doesn't check himself, then he just won't stop. And that's again exactly what that other entity that we hinted at in the first session kind of like is a sign of, I think. So he's constantly having to try and check himself when he does insane moves. He didn't need to throw that guy 100 feet in the air and then disintegrate him. That is not the actions of someone that is like okay. so he's gonna have to keep an eye on that sort of shit, you know. But no, you need to be careful about asking for my thoughts because I just won't shut up. But that's them in a nutshell.
No, I like it.
Really enjoyed that, man. Really top notch. Also, so dead excited for the next one again. So buzzing. Yeah, buzzing.
It's one of those. I'm glad I got you laughing at the start, but I'm more glad. More glad. We are at Highkeep. It's like I've wanted to get you here since the past 2 sessions, and I'm like, okay, I know. I could just put you here straight away, but I was like, nah, we need to get
Got to
here.
earn it a little bit.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to dally a little in Valleydale, but I just couldn't resist trying. I was like, I feel like
And
you've got to try and get through. Like,
I'm kind of glad you did, because I was like, I want you to get here. And as much as I was like, nah, this is a good place. So,
Spot on.
but no, I am looking forward. This is now the bits where I'm like, now I'm really excited, because I naturally, of course, I know what's going on at this point, and I can't wait for everything to start developing and then see how it just changes now that you two are here as well. So that will be for the next session, which we will decide it will be very soon, within the week. And again, to all those watching now or after the fact, thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed it. As always, give us a like and subscribe, and we shall see you next time. And as we always say,
Burn them
rolls.
rolls. Burn them rolls.